¿Tengo el mate?
No, porque te
École. Ahí también. Sí.
Une personne. Là, je viens de le partager.
Un mate con mucha miel.
Sí, pero debo tomar yo primero.
No, pero yo antes de papá yo, ¿ya?
Te tienes que poner ahí.
No, la cosa es que tiene que estar más lavado.
Yo te convido unos sorbitos mejor.
No, quiero con mucha miel.
Ya, pues, pero el mío va a tener mucho miedo.
El de papá es que le puedes poner mucha miel.
Okay, all righty, we're gonna get started.
Estoy hablando del don ahí.
Est-ce qu'il y a, on parle le français? C'est toi la personne la plus importante.
All right, well, on the wahi ka joke was what we see us nyardi. Gazita Rio, you just go no ji on that just going to start, Ronata Runi. Retenu Rado Garunga Gari Agesso, yet the sort of us tanka garako dona yet in the stadio Huzagi than a quago scratch in the Nungwe. Retenu Rado, a wage me, Ganyat the Gera than a quago of Wazile, or no Pasuta. Retenu Rado, Sawayera, ne Gundun Hetzedat Gawis, ne what Jadadu? No, that's the personal. It's the exchange between all things. What Jadadu is the personal exchange. What the Jadu? The exchange between all things. That's what I'll do. Yeti sota gunha there all not the heads to me gonna go here that the hawakwe. Ayuki at again ha dam dawe are on heads and because it's tasser and neganungwe. Dam dawe are on heads and us at ni got dart again, they can younger haga. That in yato, no not only down or risk rewage. Dam dawe are on heads and a guego on a gorder and a guyana rasa go and escana dono ori huio, kari wari shusra dono because it's tasser ne gayanda wana. Okay, so as you know that every time we get together for anything of importance, meeting, council, ceremony, we always have to carry out a Honda Gadi Wadekwa first. This is where we identify and give thanks for the things in creation that have created us and the things that we need to continue to sustain us. So we always begin by giving our thanks to our origins, to the great spiral of creation. When you look up into the nighttime sky, you are not looking into cold, dark, empty, lifeless space. No, instead, you are looking into the living, vibrant body of our great mother. And this is what she looks like. And so we give thanks to her, to the great spiral of creation, to Sky Woman herself, as it is she who has given us spirit. From there, we give our thanks to the beating heart of our Mother Earth, to our grandmother Moon. It is she who regulates the flow of the lifeblood in all things. And so we give thanks to her, to Grandma Moon, as it is she who has given us blood. From there, we give our thanks to our Mother Earth, regardless of where you have grown up from her, regardless of what language you speak, what color you are, or what you imagine divides us. We have all come from the same mother, making us all one family, sisters, brothers, all relations, all together. We are all relatives. And so together, collectively, we bring our minds together to give our thanks, to remind ourselves about our humanity, not our special interest, but about our collective humanity of which we are a part, of which we cannot exist without all the things that we are connected to, and all things are connected to us. We are the center here in this world, upon our Mother Earth. It is us that are charged with taking care of her, with managing her, with beautifying her. With when you come in, you are supposed to take as it is, you are supposed to only beautify it. You are not supposed to take away. You are only supposed to add to it. And so we give thanks from there to all the women, from the newest born baby girl to the eldest grandmother, as they carry the sacred title of life giver into the world and are to be honored and respected as such. We give thanks to them, the life givers in all strains of life, not just mothers of humans, but the mothers of trees, the mothers of the birds, the mothers of squirrels, raccoons, chipmunks, of everything. The mother that gives birth, that makes the life transition, that it makes it to a continuous thing. So we give thanks to that, which makes us part of the continuum, which makes us the continuum. From there, we give our thanks to all the waters and all the medicines in all the shapes and forms they come in. And this is to remind ourselves that you are made of 100% water. Everything is made of water. But yet we look at the diversity of life. It's constituted in all its different shapes and forms. That tree is water. This tree is water. But yet they're two different trees, two different colors, two different purposes. They serve two different functions, each complementing the other. One cannot grow or be without the other. This is the reality of the world that we are in, that we cannot be without that tree. That tree will not be without us. And so all things, we give thanks to the mothers in all things, as this is the thing that makes us all connected, regardless of if we are a tree or if we're a squirrel in the tree. It's the mother that connects that squirrel, the mother squirrel and the mother tree, the function. They are all connected together. And so this is our continuum, our mother's line, that which brings us into the world, gives us life and sustains us. This is what we must stay true to, what we must protect. So from there, we give our thanks to our ancestors who carried a good mind, and we ask them to help us to return our mothers back to their natural seat of authority within all our nations, so they can manage all our people properly once again. We ask our ancestors who carried a good mind to help us to return the Goa, the great law of peace, back to the hearts and minds of all the people. And if you can't say or think or believe that you do not know what great law of peace is, then you are the problem. You are the hindrance here upon our Mother Earth. Everything within creation is born of peace. Everything. There is nothing that is born of war. The only thing that is of war now in this world is man, and man has spread his war into contaminating absolutely everything. His war now contaminates that tree that we need to sustain us, that contaminates the other tree that tree needs to sustain it. And so that we are all interlocked upon a continuous thing, that we are interdependent. And we see that this male dominant warmongering mentality has spread into all things, poisoning all things. This is where we find ourselves today, regardless of what issue we may be looking at, what issue we may be confronted with. It has spread its poison into every aspect of the human experience. And we don't even know where the human experience is, because you have had your mind isolated into believing a certain thing, a very limited perception as to what the human experience is. So in your human experience, you have no idea of that the bottom of the ocean, in that Marianas Trench, is our human experience. And you go there, and what are you going to see? You're going to see plastics. in the bottom of the ocean. And so even though you would never have gone to the bottom of the ocean, you're never going to be able to dive to the bottom of the ocean to go and see what's there. Even though you will never know what's there, the fact is that we humans have contaminated that part of our Mother Earth. That's our human experience. And that human experience is a corrupted one. It is a disease upon our Mother Earth. And so this is what we look at in all areas of our human experience, where we are looking at things that are wrong, that need to be corrected, that need to be fixed, that needs to be healed. And when we look upon our Mother Earth, we can see, of course, that the environment, the ecosystem needs to be healed. The people need to be healed. Everything that we have affected needs to be healed. There is nothing that does not need to be healed. And so this is the responsibility of humans. It is humans that must do the healing. But what are humans doing to heal? We just referred to this statement or study, I don't know, whatever, a statement or declaration from the United Nations in 2017 from the scientists from around the world that are employed by the United Nations to do an assessment of our environment, of our world. And all these scientists have come together and concluded that the damage that man has caused to our Mother Earth has a very limited time in which it must be reversed. All these scientists have made the statement of the year 2030. You have all heard this. You're not hearing it from me. All the scientists employed by the United Nations have identified that we have until the year 2030 to reverse the damage we have already caused. Not to get started by 2030, to reverse it. Now, to reverse the damage we have already caused by 2030, knowing that just since the so-called Industrial Revolution, this is what, 100 years, 150 years max? It's not even long. So we're dealing with correcting everything that has been done since the last 150 years. We're not talking about getting started by the year 2030. We must reverse all the destruction that has been caused in the last 150 years. We got until the year 2030 in which to do this. So we know that we look around the earth, and since 2017, when this statement was made, no one has lifted a finger in that direction. But yet in the last 2 years, every single last person on earth has heard, trust the science. Trust the science. To do what? To do what the politicians want you to do. To be locked down, to not be free, to not be able to go outside and breathe the air, to not even be able to see your loved ones when they're dying. How many people do we know that their elders have died by themselves in the last 2 years? That people were not able to go and visit their elders. What kind of stupid society relegates themselves to such insanity, to such subhuman behavior? In the name of what? Saving yourself from some contrived virus? Well, here we are 2 years later, and all the people who lost their parents, who lost their elders, their grandparents are now kicking themselves in the ass. Because in the last 2 years, you can look back now and you can see the lie. But the lie, while it was happening, was strong enough to get you to forget about your parents, to get you to be locked down where you cannot take care of your elders. Everybody, there is not a single person who is not connected to somebody who's had an elder who is relegated to a old age home, a convalescent home, and who has passed away in the last 2 years. None of us are free of that. You may have, maybe it's not you directly, but it's a cousin, it's an uncle, it's a grandparent, it's a friend It's your friend. I don't care if you're 12 years old. Your friend has a grandparent that this happened to, or a grandparent, or knows somebody. This has affected all of us. This shows us that even to exercise our humanity for each other, it's not there. We are now confronted with some kind of new existence. Some kind of new existence that humans are relegated to, that we cannot be human to each other. We cannot love each other. Because in the past 2 years, while your parents or grandparents were dying, and you couldn't go to take care of them, they knew that there was no love there for them. But when you were children, you were taken care of by them. And when we got older, we relegated them off to the side to die by themselves. It may not have happened directly in your life. It may not be your mother or father or your grandparent or your aunt or uncle, may not be your friend, but we know that this is the reality of creation, that this is what has happened. This is what's going to continue to happen. And so we see that we're struggling just to exercise our love. How many people this year, in the past 2 years, were prevented from love? Even just the atmosphere that exists of almost like adversarial in the street, because when police tell you to be on the lookout for anything suspicious, and as soon as you see something, to call it in and report, to make you so paranoid that you're going to see somebody in the street trying to exercise their humanity. And out of your paranoia, maybe not you, but this is the way the society has been in the last 2 years. Out of paranoia, call the police, call so-called authorities on a person who's quite simply trying to exercise their humanity. We see all the time, you know this, that in certain places now around the world, different countries like Australia, well, no, you can't even plant, you can't have a garden. It's illegal now. Australia is a Commonwealth country. Isn't so-called Canada a Commonwealth country? If something applies in one Commonwealth country, you know it's going to apply in the other one. So if you think that's Australia right now being locked down, saying, well, they can't have gardens for whatever protection of, what they call it, protection of the something. Because over the last couple of years, the threat of bacteria or whatever. And so now they're claiming that to protect the integrity of the something, I don't know. They create this law that in Australia that you cannot plant a garden now. So even if you had a big land like this, you can't plant a garden. You could hide it, but they have the right to go at any time onto your property, onto your land, without even having to identify themselves as authorities. They are not bound. If you know what this law is in Australia, they are not bound to identify themselves as police or whoever the authority, the body may be. They do not even have to have any kind of like uniform or anything to identify who they are. And if they came right to your house, they don't need a warrant. They have the public interest as their claim as to why they have the right to be able to go into anybody's property and to go and see, hey, you got a garden? Well, they're coming in and they're shutting you down. They're digging up your garden, they're ripping it out, and you get a fine with even possibility of jail time. Oh, well, this is in Australia. Wow. Like we said, it's part of the Commonwealth, and it doesn't really matter if it's Australia. It doesn't matter if it's some other country, because every country, as you know, so-called Canada, is part and parcel to the United Nations, which means you are all part of some agenda that you have no clue of what that agenda is. You got no clue of where the source is to what you are being controlled to do. But it's happening worldwide. So whatever's happening in Australia is happening to people in Germany. It's happening to people in China. It doesn't matter if you think that, like, say, we all believe or think that Russia, the United States, China, we might think that they're adversaries. And we might think that, well, as adversaries, well, they're independent from each other. No way. There is no independence on earth any longer. Everybody is all part and parcel to this one main corruption. And this one main corruption, no matter what, it comes down to male dominance. It is male dominance that has spread into absolutely everything, distorting the minds of men, altering the perception of what the role is of men in this world. And when you have that altered, then you have men not even knowing or being aware or being confused as to their identity, not even being certain if they're a man. Now they're this or they're that. There's some other terminology where they're not a life giver, they're not a life protector, there's something else. Just because an individual chooses to say that there's something else, and now it has the whole world being knocked off the kilter. Because one person says, if I said to you, I'm no longer me, I'm no longer a male. Now I want you to call me something else. When you know that I'm a male, when you know I'm a guy. But if I demand that of you, and if I inflict that upon you, and you don't have the integrity enough to stand within your identity, to stand within reality, then we're all pressured by some political correctness that allows us to end up in a state of where the entire world is in the state that it's in right now, in a mess. Because the male dominance has crept into everything. And so here today, we're here to first and foremost to come together to bring our minds together first, just to talk, just to share what's on our minds, to see what's out there, what's our collective experience. But we're also here to, as part of the hemp unity agenda, to share our knowledge with the people who have participated. Many people have planted, many people have taken seeds, just to share our knowledge there, just to bring our minds together and to see what this hemp unity agenda is looking like, what it's how it's coming to fruition. We're here also to also address the larger things, the larger corruptions. So in a nutshell, what we are like initiating today in the minds of the collective. Now, this has already been discussed, but today there is other people who have been invited who they might not be able to be with us live on the Zoom, but they will watch later on, who are participating in a new program that we're creating, that's in the process of being created. Now, this program is identified as the human reintegration into the living ecosystem. So this is like, let's say, if you went to university today, right out of high school, you got limited options as to what you can pursue. It's all within the lines of career, and you know what they tell you what a career is. So everybody in school today, they go to university to get a job. No matter what, the career is part and parcel to the destruction of our Mother Earth. There is nothing that is conducive. There is no programs that are there actually being offered that are conducive to the ecosystem, to having a human learn how to be reintegrated into it. It's just not there. It may be there in scattered broken up way, but not something that is like an official policy that anybody going into school can look at. Well, here's all my options. I can take this class, this class. Oh, what about a human reintegration into the living ecosystem class? What about that? What would this consist of? Some of you know already, we talked about this, but it would consist of basically this. With all the different people that we work with already that are established as experts in their fields, such as our good friend Paul Watson, as you know, from the Sea Shepherd organization. We've been working with them for years, that they are already established in, you can say, like an anti-system agenda. Sea Shepherd doesn't work within capitalism. It doesn't work within democracy. So it's a system. It's an organization that is external. Like we said, you could say they're anti-capitalist. You know, they're not out there actively fighting against capitalism, but by them actually being out on the oceans, trying to uphold the international whaling moratorium of 1978, then you know basically they are going out there fighting against capitalism. It's not their main agenda. They don't come out and say we're fighting against capitalism. They don't identify that, but so they are experts in their field in what they are doing. They are resisting what the rest of the world is doing in the action of capitalism in that particular field of people or organizations or countries that are going out and killing whales illegally. As you all know, since 1978, I think it's 78, there was an international whaling moratorium that the United Nations put up, and no one on earth, no country, nobody upheld it except for the Sea Shepherd organization. And so for us, I don't really refer to them as a Sea Shepherd organization. I refer to them as the Sea Shepherd Nation, because they are literally functioning as a nation. They are people from all different countries around the world, and all those countries have different laws that they are all bound by as citizens of that country. But each of those citizens participating in the Sea Shepherd activities, they are all actually working outside of the laws of their nation in a indirect way. It's like a deflected way, because in the first place, their nations made these laws, but their nations don't uphold them. What's the sense in making a law if you're not going to uphold it? It's basically just lip service. That's what the United Nations moratorium on whaling was, that they put up in 78, just lip service, because there was no nation willing to actually police it. So, well, this is where I identify that the Sea Shepherd Nation, that they are a nation, because they don't live by the laws of the individual countries that they are a part of. So they are focused, and they are pretty much one of the only organizations or of people on earth that are truly focused and that are truly taking positive, legitimate action as to the correcting and reversing. So we could say Sea Shepherd Nation has been taken United Nations scientists, their declarations of 2017. The Sea Shepherd Nation has been living by that since for over 30 years now. But the United Nations scientists only made this statement 5 years ago. Well, this tells us that Paul Watson, Captain Paul Watson, and all the brave people who are manning those ships in the Sea Shepherd Nation, that they are way ahead of their time. The rest of the world is way behind. way behind, because the rest of the world, with all of their scientists, with all of their machination of government, have only made the statement 5 years ago. And they are still not taking any action. Sea Shepherd Nation has been up and running and functional now, I don't know how long, 30 years, maybe longer. So they have been living by the UN scientist statement, even before the UN scientists made that statement. The Sea Shepherd, Paul Watson could see common sense. Do we have to do a study? We got to do a study to see if the water's getting polluted. Do we have to do that? We don't have to do that. You'd actually have to be somebody not of this world to be able to conclude the obvious. We don't need to do a study. This is what the United Nations basically did when they made that moratorium saying they can't kill whales, but they did nothing to uphold it. So Paul Watson, the Sea Shepherd, all the people brave enough to join him, they all took action based on common sense. Common sense. Logic. Common sense and logic is what we must function on. And so we conclude, when we look at the United Nations statement, 17, okay, there's somebody on the Zoom who's got their microphone on, and it's making all noise here, so you gotta shut the phones off. Making a lot of noise there. Who is it? Edith? Eliza and Kelly, your microphones are on, and we can really hear a lot of noise. Okay, so logic, common sense, the statement of 2017 saying that we got until the year 2030. In 2017, that was 13 years we had, but now 5 years later, we have 8 years. Now let's think of something that correlates with the statement of 2030. Some of you know about the statement about 2 degrees, that if the earth warms up 2 degrees, and this statement was made at the turn of the century, around, I think it was still in, maybe around in the 1990s. So let's just say it's at 2000. They make this statement at 2000, that 2 degree mark is going to be reached by the end of the century, meaning 2100. Well, that was stated 20 years ago. But 3 weeks ago, the same scientists came out and said, oh, we got to adjust that. That they got to, they may have got their projections wrong. And they said that that 2 degree mark will be reached 50-50 chance within the next 5 years. So that means 2.5 years from now. 2.5 years from now is what? 2025? So when they first said 2100, the turn of the century, but now they adjusted to where it's going to be 2025. That means 75 years they were off. Their science, all their scientists in the world, all the science they could muster up from everybody, from all their knowledge. And they said 2100. So their science is off by 75 years. Oh. Well, let's see. That's not too hard to fathom, because when the UN made this, put out the whale moratorium, there was nobody willing to do anything about it anyways. So what difference does it make if they put out these statements when they know nobody is going to do a damn thing about it? So in your world, in the non-native world, who lifted a finger in the last 5 years to take action about the United Nations scientists' statement about the year 2030? Have you seen anyone lift a finger to do anything about that, to address it? There is a fact that the only people that I am aware of, now, it doesn't mean just because I'm not aware of it, doesn't mean it's not, doesn't mean it's so, but the only people that we're aware of on Earth, out of 7.5 billion people who are taking action on that statement, is us. And that's what the hemp unity agenda. The hemp unity agenda addresses everything that is identified by those UN scientists. It addresses the pollution, the destruction of the earth, of the land, of the water, of the air. Hemp addresses all of that. Hemp will purify all of it. And so, as you know, that we have taken the concerns of the people, we have taken that statement. We believe, we trust that science. It's true. We believe it. We know that the science, non-native science, is reverse technology. It's all a lie. It's all about destruction. It's not anything about being conducive with that tree. It's all about how to tear that tree apart, how to destroy it. And so, but in this, when they said 2030, we believe them. We trust that science because we know that you don't even have until 2030. But that was a lie. This is something to get you to be complacent, get you to be comfortable so that we keep doing the things that are destroying our Mother Earth, that we keep participating in our own collective suicide. And this is precisely what everybody has been doing since that statement. I mean, even if you're not aware that the United Nations scientists made this statement in 2017, doesn't matter if you're not aware. Just because you don't know, it doesn't change the facts or the reality. What it exposes to you is that then somebody is lying to you. Somebody is withholding information from you. Knowledge is being withheld from you. Now, if you are in a circumstance where you can have the leading scientists from around the world tell you that you have until 2030, then you better examine it. You better take the time to look at what they're identifying. And when you see what they're identifying and you can conclude that there isn't a country on Earth, there isn't an organization on Earth, no one on Earth is taking any action to address it. When you arrive at that, then you can easily conclude that you have the responsibility, not your politician that you vote for. The politician that you vote for, what's their responsibility? To rip you off, to lie to you, to steal to you. That's steal from you. That's their responsibility to you because you participate in a corrupted political system that has created the circumstances where everything is being destroyed right under our feet. And so with this reality, we have concluded in looking at gathering the minds of the people who are so concerned that as to they want to do something, they want to heal our Mother Earth, they want to take action. And so we have concluded and arrived at the agenda of what's identified as the hemp unity agenda for every person on Earth to plant hemp. And to affect this, we here in the Ganyagahaga Traditional Council have made it our business to acquire hemp seeds to give to you, where you don't have to lift a finger, even though it should be you, the non-native people out there toiling, working day and night to fix what you have done. But we know, we see that you cannot, you do not have it in you to take the action, to organize And this is quite simply because of the multi-generational traumas that you have inflicted upon yourself to take away your own logic, your own common sense, your own humanity, your ability to function properly as a collective. So all of this is taken away from you, and then you're plopped in the middle of a circumstance of where now you got to deal with your own mortality. And you cannot. And so this is the reason why we have taken this action for you. It's a simple action. We have taken what was in your mind and you have identified that you want to do something. You're all non-native people, are all good people. What yet? All these good people are causing all this destruction. So how good can the people be? Well, now is the time for you to prove how good you are. And if you cannot prove how good you are, then the only thing that is going to be proved is how bad you are as a collective. You are now at the precipice of where you have the chance to save your humanity, or you will be left standing there as the one who has destroyed your humanity. You are at the precipice, not I, not the native people. It is the non-native people that are at a place now, a very dark place. Now, you can take that or you can leave it. You don't have to believe it. It's not just because I'm saying it, don't believe it to be true. But like we say all the time, prove it to be wrong. But you already know it to be true. So this is why we have taken this action to direct your energy, to put it in the proper vein of the hemp unity agenda. We have acquired the seeds to give to you so that you can take your energy, use your energy to go out there and to plant the hemp seeds everywhere and to spread the healing on our Mother Earth. We have begun. We have entered into the great healing. You just don't know it. We are in the phase of great healing now. You think of if you broke your leg. Now, from the minute you broke your leg, you're in the time of healing. If your leg was broken right now, your leg starts healing right now. So you're in the time of healing. Now, if you don't take any action in the time of healing that is conducive to healing, then you're not in the time of healing. You will be in the time of death, in the time of laying down and dying peacefully. This is not what we do. I'm sure you know by now that the native people do not lie down and die peacefully. The Ganyagahaga do not do that. For certain, Wolf Clan does not do that. No Wolf Clan will ever lay down and die peacefully. This is not our agenda. Our agenda is to live and to protect and to make sure that this life continues. This is our job. And so the agenda of hemp unity is put out there for everybody. What happened there? Are we cut off there? Take a look down here on this computer here, not that one. There. Is it on?
You're connected.
Okay, well, what's going on there?
Everything is fine, Stuart.
Everything is fine except that we have a TV here for everybody to see.
We see you, we hear you.
Power went off. Okay, so we're here now today to take this to the next level because the hemp unity agenda is already out there. It's already pushed. The hemp seeds have been acquired. Hemp seeds have been sent to people all over the place. People have been taking it. We still have a lot of hemp seeds to give out. Doesn't matter if it's for this year, for next year, people can be saving it and distributing to their friends. So the hemp unity healing agenda has begun. So on the statement of what the United Nations made about the year 2030, from the moment they said that, that's the equivalent of the leg being broken. So from the moment they made that statement was the time of healing. So we've been in the time of healing. So if your leg was broken and you did nothing, like maybe just kept walking on it, not paid attention to it, well, then you wouldn't be in healing. You'd actually be making it worse. So this is the thing that we have to be cognizant of that our actions now, we cannot in any way be staying within the status quo. That means you. What does that mean? You can't stay within the status quo. What were you doing before 2017? Before that statement, the day before those UN scientists made that statement? Whatever you were doing, that's your status quo. And I'll guarantee you, you've been doing that same thing ever since, from 2017 up until now. That means that world scientists from your government, doesn't matter what country on earth, your government has implored scientists to do studies to go out and to examine the effects of humans into the world. And your country, your scientists have told you that this is what's got to happen. And you did nothing. Imagine that, nothing. Now you can say, who am I? What could I do? I'm one person. Well, us too. We're one person also. But we addressed it. We did not sit twiddling our thumbs while everybody else in the world just stayed in their status quo. We took action. And because of you wanting action also, and by us coming together and through the process of what WELL does in collecting the minds of the people, have seen of what was in your hearts and minds, that yes, you wanted to do something. You just didn't know how to do it. So we organized it. We gathered your minds and we put it together in an official policy that you can enact, that is from within your power, not something that is some policy of government that you got to wait for funds to receive, or you got to wait for some bureaucrat to sign off on it or give you approval, or you got to get a loan. No, but something that you as an individual can take action on, that you know is going to have a positive outcome, a positive effect on our Mother Earth. You, by planting hemp in your backyard, in the creek, in the farmlands, anywhere that you can, one individual, by you doing that, you know that working in conjunction with other individuals around the earth, that this together will be one huge, gigantic healing action. So you, one person, can do one simple little thing. And that one simple little thing is going to be part and parcel to a huge healing action upon our Mother Earth. It may not be immediately right now. And you may want immediate gratification, like everything. You want it now. But you might not get that, but you do it yourself. Somebody's going to look at you this year and say, why are you planting hemp? What are you going to do with it? And you explain to them, you don't have to do anything with it. All you got to do is put it there, leave it there, and it is healing. It's healing our Mother Earth. It's purifying the soil, it's purifying the air, and it's purifying the water. And it is also purifying you, your heart and your mind. Because right now, if you're doing nothing, you're sitting on your ass. Now, if you took the action to take one seed of hemp. You take one seed and you'd have to find some place because you don't want to just waste that. You don't want to plant it somewhere where some jackass city worker or cop or somebody's going to come along and cut that down. No, you want to plant that somewhere where it's going to have the ability to grow to fruition, where it's going to have its maximum healing power. So that means you're going to have to think about where you're going to go and plant that. You're going to start looking at the earth differently, because maybe yesterday you might just say, I'll plant a hemp seed, sure, I'll just put it there, not thinking that some bureaucrat, city official is going to come along, cut that down. So now you got to think. You got to be a part, you got to become a part of the land. And so all the people who would participate in the healing through the hemp unity, you would become part of the land. You would become part of the healing. And so this is what has already started through hemp unity. Now with this, we combine this with something else. What a greater opportunity for all of us. When you start down the path of walking in this world righteous, there is one opportunity after another for you. So you walk in this world and address the damage, the destruction we have done. You address the healing, then one opportunity after another. Each step that you make is going to be a brand new experience for you. It's going to be a whole new set of options, one that you never had before. So here now is another option on this path, something that is already begun, something that we're already starting, but something that you can be a part of. It is basically this. We said this before. Now imagine if you go into university. Well, remember when you just get out of high school and you're going to college or university? Two of you know what we're talking about. So imagine you go into university and you're looking, you don't have any idea what you want to do. All you hear is that your parents keep telling you, some counselor keeps telling you, you got to get a career, you got to get a job. This is what they keep telling you. But all the careers, all the jobs that are there are part and parcel to destroying creation. That's what you go to school for. You go to learn how to destroy creation. I don't care what it is. If you go to be a bulldozer operator, you're going to learn how to destroy creation. If you're a rocket scientist, you're going to learn how to destroy creation. If you're a brain surgeon, you're learning how to destroy creation. So everything that is there today in schooling, so-called field of academia, where knowledge is supposed to be passed on to us, everything there is destruction. You can't learn anything there that is conducive. So here now we have a new option to the academic world. What about if you go in, you just got out of high school, you're going to university and you're looking, well, here's all the classes that I can choose from. It's whatever, sciences, whatever. Now, a new category, one that doesn't exist, human reintegration into the living ecosystem. Is that an option right now? To reintegrate humans into the living ecosystem. That's not an option anywhere. Not in any university, nowhere. So right now, in a nutshell, this is what the agenda is. We're pushing this agenda, human reintegration into the living ecosystem through the academic world, through the contacts that we have been establishing in different schools, into the academic world, to push, to have, it will look like this. It won't be, say, one classroom where you go to one classroom for something and you're there all semester. No, it will be spread out through our good friends in the Sea Shepherd organization, the Sea Shepherd Nation, where a person might be, say, 2 months on board the Sea Shepherd ships, wherever they may be. They're in every hemisphere now, everywhere around the earth. So the options are really great for somebody who wants to pursue that. Now, not just that, but also we have other similar organizations that have been doing similar things and that have been established also as experts in their field that are outside of mainstream, such as the people that we got the hemp seeds from. This is a organization that has been up and running since 1990. So for 30 years now, 32 years, this is Hemp Traders. They're out of Nevada. They are pushing everything, everything hemp, building your house hemp, clothes hemp, food hemp, medicines hemp. So this is another area. So a person might be, say, 2 months on the Sea Shepherd organization. They might be 2 months here within the Ganyangahaga Traditional Council learning with our Ganyangaha teacher, Wayagerdu, learning language, because language is a key here. Your languages are not for humans. Your languages fall far short, prevent you from actually knowing and being and conducting yourself as humans, because all the behaviors that you do come from within that culture that has that language. So it tells you that in that language, there's certain things that you don't have the ability to be able to identify. Your languages prevent you from understanding. So here within the Ganyangahaga Traditional Council, say a person might be in the human reintegration into the living ecosystem. They might be here for 2 months learning of great law of peace, but also within there on a daily basis, or say 2-3 times a week, yet to be worked out, that they'll also be getting the language. They'll be getting the medicines. They'll be getting the reintegrated into this. Instead of you looking at this to become a part of it once again, to rejoin your family. This is your family. When you're out there in the city, those buildings, those roads, everything that's there, that's not your family. That's the stuff that's killing you. These things, these trees, this is your family. This is what loves you. This is what will protect you. This is what gives its life for you. So reintegration back into it, it will consist of here within the Ganyangahaga Traditional Council, it will consist of the 13 ceremonial cycles, which will reintegrate a person completely into the knowledge of the cycle of the of our Mother Earth in the particular region where you are at, because every region has its own specific cyclical energy, its own specific cycle. So also individuals. There was other individuals that we know that are already spearheading in the field of separating out of what we identify as democratalism. That's democracy compromising its people to capitalism. This is, you think you're in democracy. You're not in democracy. You're in democratalism. It's democracy compromising its people to capitalism. And so everything that it touches, as you know, it turns it to crap. It destroys it. And so the proper terminologies is what's necessary. So democratalism, if you don't identify, if you went to the doctors and you said, oh, I got a sore elbow, but your problem is actually here on your shoulder. You're just giving the wrong terminology. But if you're taught that all your life, my elbow, my elbow, my elbow, but then you go to the doctors and you tell your doctor, well, my elbow's bothering me. Well, your doctor's going to be over here and you're going to say, what the hell's wrong with the doctor? But you're not going to realize it's not the doctor that has something wrong with them. It's you. It's you that does not have the proper terminology. So the adjustments to the living ecosystem is a process of reintegration. You cannot just come and be here. You have to be reintegrated into this. Do you think any person, do you think that you can just come back onto the land and think that you're going to be conducive to it? No way. Everything that you know, everything that you think, everything that you believe is against the land. You must be reintegrated. And so this is a process that we are just feeling right now. We are, like we said, feeling in the darkness together. We are humanity, and humanity is having this nightmare that we got to deal with. And so we have to design our way out of this mess. And so this is part and parcel. Step 2 to basically hemp unity agenda is to now go and take it further to make it real, more real than just what the hemp unity agenda is, and to make it, to change academia, to change the system where you're not just pumping out a bunch of brainless people who are part and parcel to destroying the land, but now you can have an option. When you go into university, an option of this program, human reintegration into the living ecosystem. If you had that option, would you take it? Who would take that option? Put your hand up. Who would take that option if they had it? We all would take that option. Why is it not there? With all the brains that we have in the world, with all the smart people, I mean, if we can send rockets into space, if we can talk about going and colonizing Mars, colonizing space, because we have to, because we're so stupid, we destroy the earth. Now, if we could talk about that, why can't we talk about saving the earth before we have to go out there? This tells us that everything that we've been doing, we got to stop it. We got to stop right now. Stop. You have to stop. Can you? Can you stop? None of us can. I can't stop either. We're all addicted to this, whatever. We are like an experiment. We're a human experiment. And we've all been fed the sugar. So we're all addicted to it now. And so whenever they just push the buttons or pull the strings, we're all jumping to the tune of what they tell us, what they want. Can we save ourselves? Well, this is for humans to discuss. And for humans to look at it, this is where what we have identified is the next step. We have to push this human reintegration into the living ecosystem. So, like I said, there's different people that we have on board that we've been working with. Number one, we always work with the Sea Shepherd. This is for us. This is the if we were placing a bet on humanity, that's where we would put our money. We would put it there with the Sea Shepherd organization. So there's them. There's these other bodies, like we said, such as hemp traders, but there's also other for different reintegration part with the Anishinaabe Nation, with the Innu. So a person would be a person who would pursue that program. You go, let's say you're going into McGill, or what's the school that you go to? University of Montreal. you go to UCAM. Well, now, here's a new program, human reintegration into the living ecosystem. We're talking about, which means you cannot let this idea die. It doesn't matter if we get it up and running. You know that this is what has to get up and running. So know what the agenda is to get ourselves, if we're like that, all those rats that are stuck in the bucket, are we gonna just one's try and climb up so then the next one is gonna go and pull them down? No, we have to work together. Now think of what this means. How can natives and non-native people work together? Tell you outright, you know, we don't trust you. You know that. And you know there's enough reason for us not to. So what can we do together? This is where we've been identifying to you that, well, you just don't have certain abilities within your society, within your people. And within ours, we don't have certain abilities. You have certain stronger traits. We have certain weaker traits. And in certain areas where you're weaker, we're stronger. But as it is, we're all just enemies. Because this is what the system wants us to be. So that the system doesn't ever have to worry about humans saving themselves from that system. So we got to pull a rabbit out of a hat. We got 8 years, not even 8 years. We got what their last statement, it's 2.5 years. We got 2.5 years to pull a rabbit out of a hat, which means, well, maybe you're not going to be able to do it in time. But it doesn't matter. Because if we looked at something and we said, well, who am I? I'm just one person, or we're never going to get this done in time, then we defeat ourselves. We can't defeat ourselves. We got to set out and identify knowing what the objective is, and we set out to do it. We don't look at the things that are preventing us from doing it. We do it. This is what's got to be done. Yes, then we do it. Let's do it. So this means now that actions have to be, words have to be put into actions. So the hemp unity agenda grows into the next level. And the next level is here where together, collectively, we push this agenda. So now what would this look like? It would look like basically right now, we are already in the works of pushing this in different universities. We've already established the groundworks. For years now, we've been working on this. All it needs is people such as yourself. People such as yourselves who are going into universities or who wants to take higher levels of education, who will pursue this, who will ask for it, who will demand it. It must be demanded. Because again, it's not an option. It's not there. But if you're looking at, this is everything that the UN said. They said we got to do this. We're looking at options. There's no options there. So here is one option presented to you that in the field of no other options, the only option becomes the only obvious thing to do. So we push this, we look for more people who will be a part of it, people with special skills, with special interest, such as, if some of you know that if you're with us a couple of weeks ago on the Wednesday Zoom, I was really shocked that we were joined by this Swiss mountaineer, world famous mountaineer, and I had no clue really of how famous this guy was. He's sitting right next to me and he's talking to me, and I really didn't know. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know who I was talking to. But he's a world famous mountaineer, survivalist, books made about him, documentaries, movies made about him. He is, as some of you heard, he wants to create a program of taking people, children, youth, out of the city environment, out of the urban environment, and taking them back out into creation. And this is where, from him, it's actually him who spawned the idea of the human reintegration into the living ecosystem. This comes from this guy. What was his name? John Trolle. John Trolle. Anyways, this is his idea. This is his agenda. All we did was look at what we were already working on and seeing how it integrates with what his idea was. So we expand it and we include him into this program. So if there is somebody who wants to take that program, they will be a certain X amount of time with the Sea Shepherd organization, X amount of time here with us, X amount of time with hemp traders, with X amount of time with this, with Jean Trolle, with the reintegration into the, actually physically into the ecosystem. So there is many arms, tentacles? No, doesn't sound right, tentacles. Many branches of this tree. Roots. Spreads all over the place. And if we plant this tree properly, it will take root. We can have children into the future, generations from now, who will be naturally going right into academic system that is free of all the other options, that it will only be these options of a human living within a living ecosystem. There should be no other options in the university. There should not be an option to learn how to be a bulldozer operator to tear down all this that we have to be connected to. There should be no option of being a person who, whatever, works with plastics. Did you all hear the latest about plastics? The latest statement in the last 2 days about plastics? Think about this. You know now, plastics in the Marianas Trench, the deepest place in the ocean, 7 miles down, plastics. You know about plastics on top of Mount Everest. You know about microplastics in the air. Microplastics in your shampoo. Why? Why is there microplastics in your shampoo? Why is it in everything else? So you know there's plastics everywhere right now. No, knowing this and knowing that it's increasing, exponentializing in its destruction, that just in the last 2 days, the plastic industry, speculators, identify that production is going to increase threefold in the next couple of years of plastics. So not only is it going to be in the Marianas Trench, the bottom of the ocean, it's going to be all over the bottom of the ocean, 3 times as much. It's going to be 3 times as much on top of Mount Everest, 3 times as much in the air right now. You know what that means? That means right now, can you see the microplastics in the air? No. You know what? When there's going to be 3 times as much, you're going to be able to see it. You know how you're going to be able to see it? You know, when you look up, when there's weather, you can look and you see that ring around the moon. You can see that spectrum, or even sun in the daytime. When you know there's going to be weather, you can see the big ring around the sun. That's how you're going to be able to see plastics. You're going to see plastics in the air. We're almost there now. Can you afford to wait until that happens? No, you can't. Because your children are going to be breathing that in. And you can't even breathe it in right now. Are our children going to be plastic? Are we creating plastic people? What happens when there's a threshold that we pass? Again, think of that scale, you know, not a digital scale, you know, those scales where you got weights on there and you got to slide it for your weight. On a scale like that, 1 ounce will tip the whole scale. So when is it that we're going to make that next little bag, plastic bag, or that next plastic that covers a toy? When is it that we make that we've just gone beyond that precipice? Or we can't return any longer? Are we already there? Is this the reason why you are even here? We're even here talking because we're already beyond that precipice, because we weren't here talking before. Yous weren't here before. Every generation before yous were busy. Yous were too busy destroying everything. So why is it now? Is it because we passed the precipice? And if so, what happened? If we pass the precipice, it's too late. What do we do when it's too late? Well, what's the point? Might as well just all give up, right? No. The point of knowing precipice is for you to know where you got to take your stand in your humanity. Where do you stand? At what point? Where do you set your stake in the ground and you say, I'm not budging from here. This is it now. After this, I don't care if you kill me, because after this, there's no point in living after that. Where do you put your stake down? Have you? Have you done that? Have you put your stake down anywhere? Well, this is what we got to do collectively for what is being lost. Okay, so in a nutshell, now you know that this is what we got to do, but yeah, okay, we look all across everywhere on earth. Everybody's got a different idea. There's a bazillion different voices, all saying a bazillion different things. What do you get out of that? What does democracy do for you? With those billion different voices, it washes away your voice of concern. That's what democracy does. Where is the voice of concern in democracy? Oh, you know what it was? Let's see. Who was the voice of concern? Ralph Nader? He was the voice of concern, kind of, for the people. This is the voice of concern is not there. It's not there in democracy, because democracy is the pirate ship. It's the pirate ship. You want to stay on the pirate ship, or you want to do something about what happens from that pirate ship? Because on that pirate ship, it's you. You. That's who it is. The pirate ship is you. You want to get off of it? We have to conclude together. We have to make our plan together. So this is our plan. We know that there's other plans. We got to bring all of our plan together. So from here, this is the agenda that we're pushing. Hemp unity is still going to be here until 2030. After that, you know, well, hemp unity will still be, but it's going to be for other people to carry it out. All we done was to kickstart it. So the next part of the agenda is like what we said, this human reintegration into the living ecosystem. Okay, so from here now, I've given you just the basics of what this structure, what it would look like. It's basically just in the schools, academia, it's nothing there. It's just the point of where to get to the minds of the young people and to give them the option in the school. So from that school, they would never actually be back in that school throughout that year anyways, because they'd be here, they'd be in the Sea Shepherd, they'll be in the hemp traders, they'll be with this Jean Cholet, and others, because every day there's other people coming and presenting themselves as to that they want to help. They want to get on board. All we gotta do is make it happen. Okay, so it's basically that in a nutshell. And now, like we said, we're feeling in the dark. So to feel in the dark, it's where we all got to share our experience. If I got like a sonar, I'm sending out my signal. If I'm feeling in the dark, it's gonna hit you and bounce off of you to tell me where, so I can get my bearings, so I can know where I am, what I'm dealing with. So this is where now to feel in the dark, where we gotta share, we gotta say our take, our position in this. Okay, so that's basically it, what we're presenting here today. Now we'll pass the fella around for everybody to have their time to share. There's people also in the Zoom. So yeah, we'll begin right here. I guess we'll begin right here. If you have anything to say, take all the time that you want. If you don't want to say anything, that's fine. Just pass the fella on. Everybody can be here just to observe and to know that what is being talked about, if you do not support it, then you should not stay here. Or you should say, I do not support this. Because here we're all discussing something that we are acknowledging as to what our agenda must be. So we can't have anybody who is going to be misleading by being within it and leading the rest of us to believe that, oh, you're on board, and later on only to have our belief in that be the thing that compromises the thing. So if you have anything to say, we'll pass the fella around. Oh, introduce yourself, Cecil.
Victor, patriote, citoyen charbonneau libre. Moi, je commence, je dirais tout simplement la nature, la liberté. Il faut être libre soi-même pour comprendre tout ce qui arrive, de ne pas être des sujets de la grosse machine qui nous entoure, de prendre nos décisions, d'être réveillé, d'être alerte, de propager cette liberté-là vers la nature. La nature, elle est libre, mais en ce moment, on la brime, on la foule du pied. Et si on commence individuellement, chacun de soi, à être libre, puis à être en harmonie avec la nature, ben, c'est une suite pour nos enfants, pour ceux qui vont venir dans les générations futures. Vive la nature! Je fais partie de la nature. Avec tout ce qui arrive, le cataclysme, malheureusement, ben, la race humaine va peut-être disparaître. Mais la Terre, elle va continuer. Elle était là avant nous autres. Il faut quand même vivre en harmonie. Les gens disent « sauvons la planète, sauvons la planète ». Ce n'est pas la planète qu'il faut sauver. C'est nous. Parce qu'on est en voie d'extinction avec tout ce qui s'en vient. Alors, vive la nature, vive la liberté individuelle pour la nature. Merci.
Yeah, little translation in a brief resume. I'll do it for you, Victor. Is nature and freedom, and we have to save humanity basically because Mother Earth is going to be able to take care of herself, but it is humanity that has to be saved because with everything that is coming, is us that is in danger. So just nature, and I love nature. I am part of nature, and yeah, if I got it. Okay.
Hi, my name is Maya Paniagua Kenneger, and I just wanted to say that it's very important that we start to live again in harmony in accordance with the entire ecosystem. But it's not enough if everyone here starts to grow their own food, plant hemp seeds, and go back to live on the land. It's beautiful, but it's not enough. We need to tear down the big corporations that are destroying the land. And the original people need to take back control of their land, and we need to help them doing that. The only way, they're the only ones who have the wisdom to be able to take care of it. And yeah, we have to do more. What we're doing, or what we now, the options we see is not enough, because we've already done so much damage. We really have to tear down these big corporations who are destroying the land. And there are people doing it. They're risking their lives every day to do it. And yeah, it's kind of hard sometimes just to sit here talking and not doing anything. Yeah. So
Oh, no.
Hello, everybody. My name is Pablo Matias Morales Arancibia. I come from South America, Via Yala, South Walmapu territory. That used to be a big territory. And there's a struggle there, same struggle as here, because as Stuart said, we are brothers and sisters. So I'm here to share with you. I thank the opportunity to be here and to be talking, be alive, and to be able to do what I have to do. I think we have time. We're still having time, and the proof is we are here talking about this, and our mother here still making us live because she needs us. Yesterday, how you see that? Latifundista, how do you say that?
Like the landowners, the one that came and stole the land, and then they made people work for them. I don't know
Yeah,
what the
in
English.
Mapuche territory, one of them killed one of our brothers, Peñi. He shoot him in the chest like this yesterday, and he was a medicine. Él buscaba hierbas medicinales para la machi.
He would just go and look for all medicine herbs
Yeah.
for the machi, that is the
Yeah.
spiritual leaders in the
Yeah,
Mapuche
exactly.
culture.
That was his job. So he was a protector. He was a brother, a che. He was people, and he was killed by the fascista, un latifundista. And there is a struggle there. Many communities are struggling in specific realities. One of them right now happening, a part of the recuperation of the territory is protecting rivers and water. And one of them very important as other, but there is a struggle in Chol Chol River, El Rio Chol Chol. And that's against not only forest company, forestier, the company forestier, but it's agronomy companies polluting the rivers and water. So right now, there's people organizing themselves to defend the water, to defend the territory, to defend us, and to defend the future too. The government is not gonna listen here or there. Corporations and powerful money people, they are not giving us our liberty or our dignity by the good ways. We know that. and we are ready to confront them. And yeah, we have to confront them since our way, our ethical way, but still in control, still in power, because they are in certain power. So we have to unite and to ground ourselves in power too. So yeah, that's our message that I wanted to share with you. And thank you.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Thank you both for your message. It really touched me because it's a reality. We know it's there, but because we don't see it with our own eyes, people, it's like if it didn't exist because we don't see it, so we cannot acknowledge it. But in the meantime, we know that it's true and it's happening, and it should not happen this way. So I think it's really important what we are doing here today, because maybe with your message, someone here or in the Zoom will hear it and will do something about it. And maybe his little action will have a repercussion that we don't know from now, but maybe it can really change things. So it's really important to take the time and talk together and address these kind of issues. So thank you very much. And I wanted to share healing process that I've begun with a new friend, Shani Taff. It's an artist, a new artist. Um, and we start this dream catcher together. So yeah, but in the same time, it's a medicine wheel. We have the 4 space, but 2 space still need to be made. So, and we have the native side here, the red side, and the white side. And we will need the 2 other to be done to complete the medicine wheel. So maybe with these kind of sharing, maybe we can start to start the process of healing together, because we have to heal a lot of things as much as you do. And the culpability, yeah, the guilt, we have a big guilt that needs to be addressed and needs to be healed. So it is not easy that just to recognize, yeah, just to recognize the past and what have been oppressed on Native people, what have been done, the genocide. It needs to be addressed. So I hope that this little action can take root and have more repercussion. So sorry for my English, everybody.
Yeah, we understand you.
Oh, let's hope it.
Salut, mon nom est Lionel, je suis le fils de Monique et le petit-fils de Emma. Moi, malheureusement, quand j'ai fait mes études, ce programme-là n'existait pas, fait que j'ai pas pu en profiter, et j'ai pas beaucoup d'expérience là-dedans. Mais je suis prêt à aider, donc je suis toujours volontaire pour essayer de donner un coup de main.
So Lionel introduces himself in the matrilineal way, and then he says that unfortunately, when he was younger and at school, that program didn't exist, so he could take advantage of it, but now he's ready to help in any means possible.
Et peut-être aussi, même s'il avait existé, peut-être que j'aurais pas été réveillé à cette époque-là pour le suivre, parce qu'on est très endormi dans notre société.
And maybe if the program existed, I would have not even followed it because we are very asleep in our society.
Mais comme tu as dit, on est au bord du précipice et je pense qu'il y a de plus en plus de personnes qui sont réveillées.
But as Stuart said, we are really at the edge of the precipice, and we can see that there's more and more people that are awakening.
Et encore une fois, je voudrais remercier la Maison Longue et vous donner le vie de tout ce qu'elles font pour nous aider.
And I think again, the Longhouse and the Life Keepers for everything that they do to help us.
Hi, my name is Mark. I am the son of Lise and the grandson of Leah. If anybody is watching in the future, this Zoom meeting, I guess it's going to be put on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Just let you know, get out of the city. Whoever's living in the big city, get out of the big cities. Go back to nature. That's where you came from. You see, and if you're afraid of not being able to survive because you've been so dependent on the city and the supermarkets and all these electronic gadgets and all that, you'll be able to survive with it. There's somebody here to make sure that if you want to take survival courses and stuff like that. So get out of the city, because the city is being controlled by a bunch of, I guess they have plans for you that, these people, these rich people have plans that don't really include us to be free, I guess. So get out of the city, go into the forest, get back in touch with nature. And if we'd all leave the city, what would happen to that city would be deserted, and shrubs, plants, and all nature, the animals would come back in it, and they would the rest of all the buildings would crumble. But that's how powerful the earth is. I mean, it can crush all of that, and all we have to do is go back to nature. So don't be afraid, just leave the city, and if you want to go to the sea, well, you have the Sea Shepherd if you want to take some courses there, So whatever it is, just get out of the city, and you'll see, and take care of nature, and go back to it, and it's gonna replenish. Everything's gonna be replenished 100-fold. So that's all I have to say.
Voilà.
Okay, it's gonna go everyone. Merci. Honorable granddaughter of Leah and our great granddaughter of Anina. I am from Wabanaki Nation, and I love Givers Nation. I'm a temporary Bear Clan member. So, what I wanted to say about this great idea of bringing back humanity into the ecosystem class program in university would be that, well, I was in the doctorate. Every time I was trying to bring, to build a bridge between disciplinaries, wasn't working, wasn't possible. university world is like democracy, so everything is compartmented and more and more like every discipline wants to be the master. So people forgot that humanity is a whole. So we have to think about a program that would be integrative of lots of disciplines. So I think it would be an amazing, that's the way a human being should be. We should be whole. This society and democracy and the mind, the corrupted mind, male dominant mind has made us broken down. So we are nowadays, lots of people feel lost. We don't know where to begin and what's happening. We just feel that everything is disintegrating. So it's a good thing that people think about bringing all this together and finding our way back. That's what I wanted to
Yeah. My name is Frédéric, son of Gertrude and grandson of a grandmother that I didn't know. But I'm also father of Ariane and grandfather of Ocean. I suppose that I can say that if one good thing that came that's coming about all that mess that we're living in is that people are waking up, people are getting closer to their heart, and they're getting together. And as we know, a group of people is stronger than the number of people in the group. And I encourage, I urge people to get together, to form some groups, and we see that it's already happening. I want to thank the Longhouse for allowing me to be here and to hear very profound and insightful speech and all the sharing that is here. Thank you very much.
I am Patrick, and I think what you're doing is really important, and I support it.
Yeah.
Hi, bonjour, je parle en français. Je m'appelle Eve, je suis biologiste étudiante comme Charlène à l'université. Je pense que ce projet est très intéressant et on va essayer le mieux qu'on peut de pouvoir partager ce message-là parmi les étudiants des universités qu'on connaît. Ça va pas être facile, mais on va commencer quelque part. Et on veut remercier aussi House, tout le conseil de femmes qui est nos amis depuis plusieurs mois maintenant. On peut continuer à partager ces liens-là.
So Eve is from a biology background in the University of Montreal, and that's why she's here with Charlene as well. And they are so happy for this program, and they're going to do everything that it takes to push it. Of course, it's not going to be easy, but this is a great thing. And again, thanking the Longhouse and the Life Givers for being there and being their friends.
Moi, c'est Charline. ici est discipline de l'école. Ben, déjà, les disciplines de l'école et de le discours et puis je pense qu'on peut juste faire ça.
And she interprets this in a matrilineal way. And she also says that she agrees with everything that Ed says, and that we are there to be able to do the best we can in every sphere of our life. And she thanks the Longhouse as well.
Hi everyone. I'm thankful for the invitation. I was actually last Wednesday. I've I just trying to take a second. I've gone on a journey of healing and want to find where I belong. I've been adopted several times and I found a way to live. And so naturally with time, I was interested in where I come from and where we're going. And I want to say that my mother's name is Yolande, my grandmother's name is Vijan, and I have a son and a daughter. My daughter's name is Arba. So I was very much focused on trying to find to heal myself, and after to lend a hand and try to bring healing. And what I found was working with bringing order in our relations. And there is a lot of disorder. The main one is from the Indo-European, there's a profound wound of disconnection from their mother and from Mother Earth. So that brings a great hunger because the basic need is not fulfilled. So whatever you take in place of that connection is never going to be enough. Thus the greed and the envy when someone else has a little bit of connection of happiness. So I want to have more. I want to control the person, you know. So most of my work is to help support people connecting with their body, because that's how they belong to nature, and then to connect to nature. And also in their heart to reveal the connection with their mother. And I'm very touched by that possibility to have a program for reintegrating humans in the ecosystem, because that's where we belong. In my work, coming here, I'm thinking, am I doing my work at the right place? Because am I only supporting people so when they hurt and then they feel better and they go back to being addicted to that system with a little less stress? Or sometimes maybe I'm supporting people to reconnect with a more natural way to live? That's the question that comes to me. But I believe that I'm at the right place right now. I'm very thankful for all your sharing and for your good heart. And I'm so thankful for that one who I think support the healing of my ankle. So, and I'm looking forward to find like a more important target in which to invest and walk towards, not alone. So that's all what I was given. I'm able to share.
In healing medicine, his name is Jupiter.
Yeah.
Mon nom est Alain Christian Marquis Bergeron. Je suis le petit-fils de Mariana Boutier, le fils de Jacqueline Marquis. D'abord, merci à Terre-Mère pour toute cette beauté qu'elle nous propose.
Alan introduces himself in the matrilineal way, and he first wants to thank Mother Earth for everything that is beautiful that she offers to us.
Je remercie la Maison Longue pour son accueil qui est toujours incroyable. C'est un grand plaisir d'être ici.
And also the Longhouse, because of the welcoming, is always incredible, and it's always a pleasure to be here.
J'ai eu l'occasion de participer à la Grande Loi de la Paix, au stade de la Grande Loi de la Paix en 2017. Et honnêtement, je n'avais pas compris grand-chose.
I was fortunate enough to be able to attend to the law recital here at the Longhouse grounds in 2017, and if I can be honest, I didn't really get to understand much of it.
J'ai encore beaucoup à apprendre pour bien comprendre tout l'esprit de la Grande Loi de la Paix.
And I still have a lot to learn, so I am able to comprehend the spirit of the great law of peace.
Je remercie beaucoup la vie pour m'avoir permis de participer à un cercle de parole qui nous a permis de travailler pour essayer d'apporter les correctifs nécessaires à ce qui nous prive probablement notre liberté.
And I thank life for being able to attend to this circle to discuss of what is like preventing us from attaining freedom.
Je voudrais remercier toutes celles et ceux qui persévèrent et qui continuent à s'engager pour nous sortir de ce parlementarisme britannique qui stimule la division dans la population.
And I give thanks for all of those who are still engaged in working to get rid of that British parliamentarism that makes that nobody gets nowhere.
C'est sûr que tous individuellement, on a à guérir nos blessures.
And of course that individually we all have to heal from our wounds.
Je pense que si on peut bâtir un système qui va être établi sur la sagesse, le respect, l'intégrité, la connaissance, on peut peut-être bâtir quelque chose de merveilleux ensemble.
I believe that if we can build a system that is going to be based on integrity, on what is truthful, then we have a chance.
Merci à tout le monde d'avoir pris de leur journée pour participer à ce cercle.
And thank you everyone who took their time to come here to this circle.
Nous sommes ensemble un.
And together we are one.
Il faut continuer à nourrir cette réalité.
And we gotta continue nourishing that reality.
En relation avec les lois naturelles.
In relation with the natural laws.
Bonjour, mon nom est Sylvie, je suis la fille de Thérèse et la petite-fille de Délima. Je dirais que tout le monde prenne conscience que ce qui a été construit par l'homme peut être défait.
And Sylvie introduces herself also in the matrilineal way, and she would like everybody to be aware that everything that has been built by men can be undone.
Et ça nous donne beaucoup de perspectives pour l'avenir.
And that gives us a lot of perspective for the time to come.
En ce moment, les jeunes ont besoin de guidance et le cours de Stewart nous a parlé, cette formation-là Je crois qu'elle est importante. Elle va résonner beaucoup chez beaucoup de nos jeunes qui ne veulent plus embarquer dans le système, mais qui ne savent pas de quel côté regarder, par où commencer.
And right now, a lot of our young ones need guidance, and I believe that this program that Stuart just spoke about is going to give them a perspective to go and somewhere where right now there's no options at all. So they are completely disillusioned of the system, but it's just that they don't know where to go right now. So this program might be the thing.
Je veux aussi adresser qu'il y a beaucoup d'initiatives en ce moment. Je vois plein de petits groupes, des groupuscules qui sont partout, qui essaient de se connecter avec la Terre-Mère et qui, quelquefois, sont maladroits, mais qui ont des bonnes intentions.
And I also want to say that I know a lot of different groups that are doing good things in different parts, and they might be like little shiny parts around, and that they might have sometimes stuff that is not quite working, but they have a lot of good intentions.
Puis, tous ces petits groupes-là travaillent sur la même intention, vont finir par se rejoindre. On ne sait pas quand ni comment, mais ça va arriver.
And all of those different groups that are working with these same intentions are going to come to meet together. I still don't know how or when, but it's going to happen.
Moi, personnellement, je suis engagée dans cette voie-là. J'ai hâte qu'il y ait quelque chose qui se produise. Je ne sais pas comment ça va arriver, mais je sais que ça va arriver.
And personally, I'm working towards that direction, and I don't know when or how, but I know it's going to happen. Hey, hi everybody! Bonjour tout le monde! It's really nice to see kids. C'est vraiment bon de voir les enfants ici. My name is Edith. I am the daughter of Soko, the granddaughter of Panchita, great-granddaughter of Celsa. From the Zapotec Nation, I was born in Mexica territory, and I am here under the protection of the Five Nations Law Confederacy under the Wolves Plan. I just wanna, I am hearing you, and it just brings me back to this, we could say, new neologism or new concept that the Longhouse came up with about the displacement, and it's the physical, spatial, spiritual displacement, and how we were all displaced from wherever we were growing, from our roots, wherever it was, and how it could have been 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, or now, but that we are facing all of those things. But when we comprehend it as a collectivity and not as an individualistic way, it can bring so much healing for what was said, the connection of the mother, the connection of nature. So I really feel happy when people come to the Longhouse and that people can share these things, and I am grateful for this circle. So yeah.
Oh, voilà. Bonjour, moi c'est Frédéric, fils de Lucie Gilbert et petit-fils d'Adrienne et Thérèse. Ben, j'ai pas grand-chose à dire à part que je supporte vraiment beaucoup le programme à l'école. Je pense que beaucoup de gens ont besoin de réinsertion par rapport aux racines que je trouve un peu primordiales, mais qui sont perdues. Parce qu'on est tout entouré de technologie, puis tout est rendu facile. Rien est réellement... on va dire c'est tangible, mais c'est plus une illusion qu'on vit. On n'est pas réellement dans quelque chose de concret. Puis je vais me calmer parce que je vais trop vite.
He is the son of Lucy, who is there, and he introduces himself in a matrilineal way, mentioning his mom and his grandma. And then he says that, yes, it is necessary that we all go back to work with our roots, because it's like if everybody's kind of lost, flying on the wind, and we don't have nothing real or concrete or tangible to get rooted within.
Et c'est pas mal ça. Je supporte ça et aussi de replanter du hemp, du chanvre en français. Parce que, ben oui, c'est bon de replanter, dire je vais filtrer l'air, l'eau. Je n'étais pas au courant que ça filtrait l'eau, mais je sais que replanter, laisser les plantes aussi, puis empêcher aussi, le monde aime bien leur gazon bien vert, puis dire je mets plein de chemicals dedans pour qu'il reste vert, puis juste du gazon, laisser les autres plantes pousser en harmonie avec. Parce que la Terre, c'est une diversité. Il y a plusieurs races, Il y a plusieurs races de plantes. On ne veut pas une race de plantes qui est bonjour gazon. Alors, c'est ça.
And he also supports a lot hemp. He also supports a lot hemp. It's planted, and also, let's say people like to have like this super green grass, but most of the times what they're gonna do is they're gonna add chemicals, so it is like super green, and they don't let that the other living things just come up with naturally the way they would be. So, and to my knowledge, he says, I don't know any plant that is called high green grass, so we should let the others come along. Yeah.
Well, hello, my name is Audrey, and I would like to thank everybody for sharing. It was all insightful.
Mon nom est Lucie. C'est la première fois que je viens avec toute ma famille. Alors, je suis la petite fille de l'arrière-petite-fille d'Anna et d'Emma, petite fille d'Annika et Jeanne-Isabelle, fille de Thérèse, mère de Frédéric, Fanny et Rémi. Oups, are you okay? C'est moi. Are you okay, my love? Alors, petit incident, et grand-mère de Priya et d'Armani. Alors,
Lucy introduces herself in the matrilineal way and presents all of her family, and she's super happy because it's the first time that they come together here to Longhouse Ground.
yes, and I have Audrey here, that is qui est la copine de mon fils, et le père des enfants ici, qui est Paul et Alex. Alors, je suis vraiment heureuse de vous rencontrer tous. Habituellement, je suis en Zoom.
And there's also Audrey that is here, and also the dad of the kids. So she's super happy to be here because usually she's only on Zoom.
Exact. Et puis, je crois qu'on a vraiment, qu'il est possible ce monde qu'on aimerait meilleur dans le fond. Il faut continuer de nous unir et de faire en sorte que nous puissions, tous les groupes, parce qu'il y a plein de groupes qui travaillent dans différentes sphères, qu'on puisse tous nous mettre ensemble pour pouvoir mettre notre richesse, nos forces ensemble.
And it's great to see this happening. And there's a lot, as was said, of groups that are working in different levels. And it would be great to see them come together to work towards the same direction.
Et puis, je souhaite à tous un avenir meilleur et surtout qu'on puisse se rencontrer plusieurs fois afin de pouvoir sentir cette bonne énergie qu'il y a ici. J'adore ça.
And I wish ourselves to be able to gather more and more and more often so we can keep on feeling this great energy because it's beautiful and it feels so great.
Everybody.
I wanted to say thank you everyone for receiving my family here, and I'm happy to be here with you guys and to hear what you have to say.
Hi, good day. My name is Paul, son of Alex.
Son?
Dad of Alex and Amani and Priya.
Your father.
I just wanted to say, the minute I drove on this property, I can feel this energy. There's a aura about this place. It's very peaceful. I'm happy to be here, and also I agree with a lot of your statement that you guys made. Definitely get back in touch with nature. I agree with that one. I live in Toronto currently, but what that young gentleman said earlier, sorry, the city is definitely, I think, has no fun for lower class people and middle class people, as you said earlier. So thank you for the information. I'm really happy that we actually came. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bonjour, je suis Rémi Gilbert, le fils de Lucie Gilbert. Puis, ça, puis Je disais qu'on n'a pas lâché, puis sur la nature. C'est ça.
Remy, who is son of Lucy.
I want to
and
speak,
happy to
Alex.
be here, and yeah, let's go back
No,
to nature.
you don't want to see?
Pretty much that.
Non, ici, maman. Ah, non, monsieur,
Non, il a déjà parlé, c'est le
Ah,
premier à
ok,
parler.
Tu veux
parler?
Okay, so as you see, everybody here has spoken. We got people who have been waiting with us, who've been listening on the Zoom. So we're gonna go to the Zoom and we're gonna give everybody a chance, try to keep it as short and concise as possible. You go, so.
There's France and Céline that has to speak. So go ahead, France.
Bonjour tout le monde. Hi, everybody. Hola todos. I'm a little bit confused of which language to use because I can tell that the francophones are translated in French and in English, but not the reverse. And I wonder about who will listen to that in the Zoom. So I'm going to try to speak in both language, I guess, unless somebody wants to translate me in French too. Mais c'est ça, je suis un peu mêlée à savoir de quelle langue je vais parler. Je vois que les francophones sont traduits en anglais, mais que les anglais ne sont pas traduits en français. Donc, je suis un peu dérangée par le fait que les gens qui vont écouter le Zoom plus tard, qui ne comprendront pas l'anglais, ne pourront pas comprendre ce qu'on dit. Fait que je vais essayer de me traduire à mesure. Désolée, je ne parle pas l'espagnol. Sorry, I don't speak very much Spanish. So je vais me présenter. Je m'appelle France. Moi, je suis l'arrière-petite-fille d'Herméline, la petite-fille d'Angelina et la fille de Gisèle. Je suis aussi la mère de Rémi Yago et de Jean-Sébastien et la grand-mère de Jacob et Michael. So I'm going to present myself. I'm the great-granddaughter of Herméline, the granddaughter of Gisèle, the granddaughter of Angelina, the daughter of Gisèle. I'm also the mother of Rémi Yago and Jean-Sébastien, and the grandmother of Jacob and Michael. And in the Life Givers Nation, I'm also a temporary turtle member. Et dans la Nation des donneuses de vie, je suis membre temporaire du clan de la tortue. So I took note about, I want to say first that of course, I support the Hemp Unity Project. Donc, je veux dire que je supporte très bien le projet de l'unité du chanvre. It's a wonderful project. And the project with this Swiss man there to go everywhere and to create kind of a school is very, very, very good. Donc, je vais dire en premier que je supporte le projet de l'unité de change et aussi que je trouve que tout ce projet-là, tout ce que ça amène est quelque chose d'inespéré, en fait. C'est vraiment bien. Et le monsieur, le Suisse, là, qui a toute cette idée-là qui ressemble à une école qui va enseigner à nos enfants est merveilleux. So first, that's the first point I wanted to make is that I agree with the project. I took points here that first, I agree with everybody that what everybody said here. I thought there was a lot of great ideas, very nice comment and very nice affirmation. Donc, je suis d'accord avec pas presque tout ce qui a été dit ici par les gens, les idées qui ont été partagées, tout ce qui a été mentionné, il y a des bonnes idées là-dedans. I want to thank everybody to be there physically and everybody on the Zoom. Je veux remercier tout le monde qui sont là, présents en présentiel et aussi les gens qui sont là sur Zoom and everybody that will watch this further or will share the videos or the Zoom. Et aussi remercier tout le monde qui va partager ces Zooms-là, ces informations-là à tout le monde. One thing that I took note is after taking position for ourselves, like each and every one of us, we have to educate other people in everything that we can publicly for those who can, because not everybody can be a public figure and speak like Stuart says, he's like very good at it. So if there are people that can be public, please do. And specifically to the children, because they have the energy to work and to put ideas into action. Donc, je veux dire qu'après qu'on ait tous pris position, on doit éduquer les gens. Donc, ceux qui peuvent le faire publiquement, s'il vous plaît, faites-le. Faites-le surtout avec les enfants, parce que c'est eux qui vont pouvoir mettre ces idées-là en action. C'est eux qui ont la force et l'énergie pour le faire. Also, I wanted to say that if you realize that there are some people that are with us that are struggling with, their family members or their friends who are trying to learn about this, maybe you can do private Zoom to help them to give your ideas or your position. Some of these people are too shy or to come in public Zooms. So if we help them like that, then all our families and friends can learn more about the crucial importance of everything that we're doing together. Donc, ce que je veux dire, c'est que d'aider entraidez-vous entre vous, si vous voyez qu'il y a des gens qui ont de la difficulté avec leurs amis, leur famille, et qui ont de la difficulté, leurs amis et leur famille ont de la difficulté à comprendre ce qu'on fait, mais peut-être que quelqu'un de nous peut aller les aider, parce que souvent, ces gens-là, ils sont gênés de venir publiquement sur les Zooms qu'on fait, et ils regardent ça de loin, puis ils sont un peu sceptiques, tout ça. Fait que si on peut faire des Zooms privés, s'entraider entre nous autres pour parler de ce que nous, on vit là-dedans, ça peut aider la personne à convaincre son ami, sa famille, son frère, sa mère, quelqu'un comme ça. And the third point that I took note of is we have to learn how to free ourselves from slavery. We have to give example of how we do it. We have to relate them. We have to stop buying stuff from China or other country and buy local stuff, because we know that slavery is made by this constant runaround schedule of 9 to 5, 6-7 days a week now. Some people have 2-3 jobs, and it's just like a slavery, because they buy stuff that often are useless. So, and they never get around to have the information, the crucial information that they should have. So how do we bring this about in our society? We have to do it ourselves. And this is just with this recycling of stuff that is around us, we can actually generate an economy that will be very rentable. Donc, moi, ce que j'ai dit en anglais, c'est qu'il faut qu'on apprenne à se libérer de l'esclavage. Et l'esclavage du 9 à 5, du 6 jours par semaine, des fois 2-3 jobs. Les gens, ils n'ont même plus le temps de réfléchir, ils n'ont plus le temps d'écouter les informations importantes. Ils ne comprennent pas vraiment qu'est-ce qui se passe et c'est quoi qu'ils doivent faire. Il faut surtout arrêter d'acheter des produits de la Chine ou des produits qui viennent d'ailleurs. Il faut acheter localement. Mais aussi, si on recycle tout ce qui est recyclable autour de nous, on peut générer une économie qui peut être vraiment rentable pour tout le monde. On peut aussi réinstaller le troc. I didn't say that in English, but we can also bring back the bartering system. So this is what I had to say. Thank you for listening to me and giving me the time to speak. Merci de m'avoir donné la possibilité de parler. Anna.
Okay, now, all right.
I'm sorry, we didn't hear you good, Stuart.
Okay, let's get it moving.
Is next is Celine, and Celine, you can just speak in one language.
No problem. I'm gonna present myself as Celine, the daughter of Fleurette. I'm the granddaughter of Cécile and the great-granddaughter of Rosanna and Olivia. I'm also the mother of Roxanne. So it's very nice to see everyone in a casual and exciting way of celebrating some exchanging good happiness together. I thought from what I've heard that I should share this today. I just finished because I think we're all needing this, the non-native all needed of healing. And there is a woman's healing stick, but I just finished my my man's healing stick. So I thought it would be a good idea to share with you so that the healing starts as soon as possible. When we share these things, and then you could propagate the wordings or the healing I'm trying to activate, and be part of the activation as well. You be part of the activation as well. So the healing stick is mostly to help men realize what they've done. And so the first one is, I don't know if I could show it properly, but I'll show it piece by piece. So you have the man here that is in awe of noticing what has been corrupted and demolished. So the man is also wearing an eagle feather on the side going down, so that represent peace. And there's hair in there. And that would be a good thing, I think, that for the man and the children to get back to having their mothers, their wives, their children, girls, combing their hair, to get the healing and the good mind in their hair and in their mind. I also represented by carving some falls as to all of the water that was corrupted. So by our DNA drinking that water, we need to heal that water for our DNA to heal. And then I went on, I just need to hold my stick differently. I went on to carve a full moon, grandmother moon, that needs right now a lot of help. And that's what the main goal of the Longhouse is, to save the moon. Because from digging the moon, we are in nowhere close of knowing what could we be harming while they're doing that. Women's life givers, giving birth, the ocean, the going and backwards of the movements of the elements, that is all activated by this grandmother moon, and that is representing all of our waters in all shape and forms and all of our blood. So this corruption is kept going on with all the mountains that was changed, and the mountains were changed into high rise and polluting all of the grandmother earth. And so I made a little beaver dam to represent the beaver. That is that is the animal that really helped the humankind of the nation, the First Nations, so much in the early days. And all little spring that the beaver change into a lake. And so it's because of the beaver that we have beautiful lakes to water all of what we need to water. And of course, you know, all of the ecosystem that lives around that. And then I went on to, for the healing to occur, we need, and this is the wolf right there, running, and the clans, we need to bring back the clans to bring the mothers back into authority. So that with our intuition, our God-given, you know, the Creator really gave us everything we need to give birth. So we need to give give back and just transmit what was what's in our guts for the best of humanity. Everybody needs to be guided by their wives, by their mothers, by their grandmothers, and by the youngest little girl. And then the turtle clan with that little shell there, that is the other clan that needs to take care of all of what we need to, they take care of the house, the full house, while the wolf is running to, you know, to find out all of what needs to be changed and what needs to be addressed at the council. And then of course I sculpted a bear for the clan, the bear clan, that is there to heal everyone. That's their responsibility. You go to the bear clan and ask for healing and guidance, and that's where you come into the council, or into the, as an observer, into the council of the clan. So the last thing is right now, I think so appropriate, is that I sculpt some white pines, and underneath the white pines should be put all of the arms, all of what corrupts, all of what destroy. Put it under, do it in your mind, do it in your heart, do it with, because you need, you and you want that place to become pure again. And it's without these things that corrupts everything that will come into fruition of the love that we need to nourish our DNA back to humanity, back to all the species, and right up back to Sky Woman. Anna.
Yeah. Who's next?
Nobody. That's it.
Okay, all right. All right, so it got a little chillier here, as you can tell. We have to put our shirt on. But everything that was spoken here, then this is what we have to do. We have to listen, each person, to everybody else. You have to take this home with you, wrap your mind around it, understand what the other person is saying, look at it from every angle, look at what the collective has identified, and then from there we can conclude what the direction is, the path that we have to take. So from here, we listen to all the words that were said, some very specific key points here. The first thing that was crucial is to what you identified about that. No matter what we do, there's corporations there in place. So all of us can come together and say, we want to be good and we're not going to destroy the earth no more. What difference is that going to make if there's corporations there, meaning governments in place that are giving permits to corporations to do these things? We find ourselves in democracy, you're protesting against yourself all the time. That's what democracy is. Democracy is a self-inflicted state of schizophrenia. So one side of the person that has the identity of destroying stuff is destroying, polluting the water, polluting the air, polluting the land. And then the other part of the person that wants to be good is protesting against themselves. That's what democracy is. Democracy is for stupid people. So you got to understand that if we're going to pull ourselves out of the mess that we're in, then you cannot stay in the status quo system. That's an impossibility. try to fix things from within a system that promotes destroying things. We're not going to fix anything that way. So the thing to understand here, or to incorporate in everything that is said, is what she identified about what good is it? What good is it to make for us to come together and say this stuff? Well, there's a corporation working against us right now. We're having a meeting. They're having a board meeting where there's a few people that are saying, push that button. And they're going to push that button. And when they do, everything that we're talking about is undermined immediately, just like that. So we can see that just sitting around talking like what you said is no good. It's the beginning, but it cannot end there. It's got to go into action. To have action, you got to have a plan. Otherwise, you're just out of control action. It's like your an electrical line without insulation on it. It's just going everywhere, and it's dangerous to everybody or anyone that it touches. So that's what we got to take action on. You got to take action in your mind that democracy is the thing that has to be removed from the face of our Mother Earth. Because again, like was said earlier, you think it's democracy, it's not. It's democapitalism. So every time you're referring to democracy, you're not referring to what you are actually, what's actually controlling you. Democapitalism. This is what you believe in democracy, which is the way to arrive at a collective conclusion. It's a decision-making process. That's what you think, democracy. But you know that capitalism has sold that process out. That it doesn't matter what you come together and talk about. Capitalism is undermining what you're talking about. And democracy has given the right to capitalism to do this. So this is the reason why the proper labeling of things. If you call it democracy, it's like saying, well, it's a water pistol. But if you identify it as democapitalism, then it's a loaded gun. And you don't give a loaded gun to a baby. And everybody in society is the equivalent of a baby because none of them have the ability to be able to determine what their right and wrong is in their economic actions. Because all everybody sees is that you want to get those running shoes for $20 less. And that means you don't give a good goddamn that means it's child labor in some other country. As long as you pay $20 less a year, that's democapitalism. So nobody can function under democapitalism. It actually crushes our humanity. So the number one thing that in any efforts that we got to do, we got to know that we have to remove the corrupted so-called political system, political process that got us here. If you have found yourself all of a sudden in the middle of a crazy situation, then the number one thing you got to do is back out of that situation. And you don't waste your time trying to do a study to say, hey, let's do a study to see the best way out of here. You know the best way out of here, the way that you got in here. So what we have to do is reverse our steps. Now, this is something that the world right now is not prepared for. You're not prepared to address democracy because you don't know nothing about democracy. If you want to know something about democracy, you have to go back and look at the people who created it. That's the early Greeks. Do you want democracy? Do you want what the early Greeks had? Because with the democracy that the early Greeks had, you were a slave. Women were enslaved. Nobody had a voice except for the people who were the demos. Who were they? They were the senators. Who were they? They were the slave owners. So democracy is only for slave owners. It's not for the other people who think they want freedom and they're going to get some kind of representation within their slave owner system. Democracy is for stupid people. If you vote, I say it to your face. Yes, you are stupid. That's the way it is. But you are now stuck in a system where all of you's together. How else can you get out of that? Unless you vote together. So now this means to get out of democracy, you really have to be focused within 100% truth and fact to be able to know that if you're going to vote yourself out of democracy, you're going to vote democracy to death. Because if you think you're going to vote yourself into something else, democracy is going to come around and kick your ass later on. Guaranteed it's going to happen. Because it's happened throughout time. 2,000 years later, there's nobody in your lines that got out of it, that made any corrections, that got any place else other than where you are now. So understand, democracy is the problem. It's what has caused every problem on earth, because democracy is male dominance. That's what that is. Today, if you're looking for freedom and democracy, you're an illusion. It's an illusion. So if you want to know about democracy, what you got to do is look at the people who created it. And it was slavery, it was war, it was sacking other countries, or not other countries, even just your neighbor, your next community. That's what it was. And then as soon as you sack them, go and steal everything, then you send in the nice face of democracy. That's democracy, good cop, bad cop. First, they'll come in and they'll wreck everything, destroy your house. And then they'll come in and they'll say, oh, gee, what happened? Well, if you want, we can protect you. We can protect you from us, from ourselves. So this is what happens for everybody who adopts the insanity of democracy. You automatically become schizophrenic also, meaning you find hope where there's hopelessness. You think there's hope where there's hopelessness. And you are in the exact same circumstance that people were 2,000 years ago. You haven't gotten anywhere. The only thing difference is the technology has increased, and it hasn't increased to make your life better. It's increased to keep you more locked down. Because with the highest levels of technology that we've got in the last 2 years, what happened? What did they do with it? They locked you down. So it's all about taking away your power. It's only through democracy that your power gets taken away. So the world has to come to understand and be taught, like you said, what's the point? As long as corporations are there, corporations are democracy. It's male dominance, it's corruption, it's war. Now, what else was said about what is happening to our Mapuche brother right now? The one you said they shot him just yesterday. Then what we need to know is we need to know that guy's name. We need to know what happened. We need to know the story. We need to see his mother. We need a picture of his mother and his family. And we need to be able to post that here and identify the story with all the facts, and to be able to say here in so-called Canada, it's because of the mining corporations that come from here that go to so-called Central South America and uproot and destroy and kill all the original peoples there to get at their land, the same way as, you know, that they did here. So what we have to do is have a concerted effort that when things like this happen there, you need to give us the information right away, who it is, all of that. If you recall back in 2009, when the Mawa, Bagua, in Peru, this was in 2009. You can go and look into this. They were, the original peoples were protesting, protecting the land, protecting from mining corporations from Canada. The military went in with their choppers, military helicopter, and literally sprayed those people with an M50 machine gun, submachine, M50 machine gun, 50 caliber. Killed, I think it was over 19 people at the time. At the time, we heard about it right away. We made contact right away. The very next day, we were reading their names off in ceremony here at the summer solstice, identifying what had happened to them. Now, this is what is of importance, that when such crimes that are committed of people who are protecting and defending the land, you need to know about it. Because if you're sitting here and you're taking your money and you're thinking, well, I'm going to invest some of my RRSP or take it and put it into this slush fund or hedge fund or whatever, and this hedge fund is putting money into Barrick Gold that is going into Central and South America and in turn is responsible for killing the people there, then you need to know about it so that you're not going to put your money with those murderers in Barrick Gold, because Barrick Gold from here, so-called Canada Station in Toronto, they have killed Native people all throughout Central and South America, all around the world. And so we have to fight against that. And how we're going to do that is from now on, the instance that any of you hear anything like this, you're going to share it with us right away, instantly. So later on, before you leave, we need that information so that we can post that. Even maybe we're going to do a little video with you by the garden before you leave. You're going to explain that. Something very important here, especially for me. This is important for me, but it's important for everybody here to know about what was said about guilt. Now, I come down on the non-native people very hard all the time. You hear me all the time, speaking the truth. I don't lie and I don't hold back as to what the truth is. But then I got to take into consideration what you just said of the guilt. Am I going too far? Does that actually squash potential allies? Or does it even just hurt feelings? Let's say a person who's been 100% on board, knowledgeable about, say, the British Nazi concentration camp residential schools. Now, a non-native person may be fully against that and be speaking against it and completely against it. But then maybe they hear me and what I say, the way that I speak. And then maybe that person, that non-native person, with their guilt, maybe is turned off. Maybe that one little thing that I might say might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Puts too much pressure on them. Well, if you're guilty in the first place, well, you're guilty. I ain't concerned about the guilty. But when we are looking at how we're going to together fix this, how we're going to take control of our circumstance, then yes, I have to start taking this into consideration, which means somebody said here, I forget who, talked about healing. Are you? It was you, right? So then what we got to do is we got to begin the process here, or continue the process of Degani Diohade, of the two-row wampum, which is our collective healing. You know that if you get into, let's say, husband and wife, your husband doesn't put the toilet bowl seat down. Okay, so you tell him. Now, if it doesn't happen again, you can't bring it up again. At some point when you're mad and you're arguing with your husband and you say, "Hey, remember you never put toilet bowl seat down?" Well, since the last time you told me, I've always been putting the toilet bowl seat down. So this is where, in a collective healing, where we have to acknowledge facts. Now, only through the two-row wampum am I going to acknowledge people who are not guilty. Now, if you're not guilty, it's going to be because you have taken action. Because if you are a non-native person and you're in this world and you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs, you are guilty. I don't care what you think about yourself, you are the problem. But if you are a non-native person and you have been working with native people or correcting, just trying to heal the environment, then we have to acknowledge this. So we have to begin or continue the process of the two-row wampum. We have to bring it outside of this spectrum where we are talking and making plans and putting things into action. We have to deal now on also on the spiritual level of healing that was identified, as Edith brought forward, as to the spiritual, physical, spatial displacement syndrome. This is a reality. If I went and I removed you, took you out of your family's going to feel all the pain and all of that, and so are you. Now, you're going to feel a different kind of pain because normally you're doing these actions every day, taking care of your family, loving, all of that stuff. Now, you take that person out of there and they're not able to do that. That is spiritual, physical, spatial displacement syndrome, because then that puts a dilemma in the mind of the person, a breakdown almost, because they're designed to do this. You're born or you're made to be a potato, but now you can't be a potato. Now you got to be a French fry. So you got to be, yeah, it still kind of resembles a potato, but it's just changed. It's different. It's not the same anymore. So yes, within the healing, we got to take the two-row wampum to the next level between us as to heal. There is going to be tears. There's going to be a lot of crying, because where we are, we're about to realize that we have killed ourselves, that we have committed collective suicide. Everyone on the planet. It's not a good place to be. And to know that how we got here was a plan. It's not something that just happened, an accident. Oh, look what happened. Sorry. No, this was a plan. You have all been living according to somebody else's plan, a British plan. And most of you aren't even British, but yet you're subjected to it. And so we see ourselves all being consumed around the earth, all being consumed by the same monster that came from the exact same place. Colonization is a reality. And the reality of colonization is that it has all been controlled right out of Britain. I don't care about the illusions that we have seen about, oh, well, it was Spanish. Oh, well, it was French. You think it means any difference to us if that was a Spanish white man or a French white man or an English white man? You think it mattered to us? There was no difference. They were all white men. They were all European. And the fact is that you look at the end of the day, no matter what it looked like back then in 1491, at the end of the day now, who's in control of it? Britain. Screwing over the whole world. There is a poison that has come out of there that is destroying the entire earth. And this is something that we have to come to terms with. Do we look at the British people? No. Are they the problem? No, that's not the problem. Just the same way as the Spanish who went and colonized. Was it them who were the problem? No. Was it the French who were the problem? No. There is something else that is the problem. And this is, again, in the root of male dominance, which controlled all Spanish, French, British, all of them, all of Europe, all of them, all stuck in the insanity of male dominant war mentality, generation after generation, like as if all approve of it, like it's the way. Oh, it's time for war. What time is it? Is it lunchtime yet? It's time for war. Break time? Oh, it's time for war. Every time you look at your watch in any age, in any generation, in the non-native world, it's time for war. Now, this is something that only we together, collectively, can stop. And it's a whole big action together. It's not just one thing. It's not just the human reintegration into the living ecosystem, giving that an option to students in universities to take that course, to get back reintegrated into the ecosystem. It's not just that. It's a cooperation on the levels of what was said here about when we know that there is a person such as this, they got killed for what? You think they just got killed was, hey, let's kill somebody? You're guaranteed every time a native person is killed, it's because of they were standing on the line, protecting, defending something. So when this happens, they notify us right away as to who the person is, what the circumstances are, and we immediately assess to see if this is in fact something that we can get behind, because we got to understand everything has to be judged on its own merits, and sometimes maybe something isn't completely on the up and up. I'm not suggesting this about right now, this circumstance, but to say that whenever we hear about it, we will assess it. And then soon as we do, then together how we work is we disseminate this information to the rest of you, and then the rest of you and us take action. How? You know what we do? We go to the corporation that's responsible for pulling the trigger on that guy, because it's the corporation, guaranteed. Yes, there was some hitman hired, a mercenary, could be a mercenary, hired to kill that man, guaranteed. And who was behind that was a corporation, guaranteed. So when we get this information, we filter it back here. You guys hear about it, you hear about it, and we take action, and we go to that corporation in Toronto, because that's where most of them are physically based. So we go there and we go stand outside.
The one in Montreal, actually.
No matter where it is, then we go there and we stand outside, and then we address directly the corporation about the person that they killed. We don't go there with protest signs and say, get out of South America. No, we go there and say, this corporation is responsible for killing. Who is this guy? Do you know?
I can look for the.
Okay, by the time we're done here, we're going to speak his name in this circle. So we're going to go and we're going to identify that this corporation killed this person. This is what we're going to do. So together we're going to work on that, and together we're going to build the human reintegration into the living ecosystem program, which is in academia. That's going to be an accredited course. You are going to force that because you want your grandchildren to have the option. So your grandchildren are going to grow up, and by the time they're going to university, the human reintegration into the living ecosystem program is going to be up and running, and it's going to be there for your grandchildren, for your great-grandchildren. It's going to be there by the time she is there. And so we build this together, and we don't need money. All we do is we just put the concept forward. Once the concept is forward, then we support that. And we're gonna fund the beautiful little children, little girls, little boys who are rising. We're gonna fund them because there's no funding for them for this. We're gonna fund them to reintegrate them back into the living ecosystem. This is our job. Is this not our job? Who else is gonna do it? Nobody else is gonna do it. It will not get done any other way. So now you must take complete responsibility for everything that we talked about here, regardless of if I get killed tomorrow, it does not matter. You know what the agenda is, and we push the agenda no matter what. And it doesn't matter if it's through me or if it's here, or no matter what, we push it so that one day our children are going to be standing there with an option. Yeah, you can go down that path. You can take the red pill and you can go straight to hell in the corporations and get that kind of education, or you don't have to take a pill at all. All you can do is just go into the human reintegration system, reintegration into the living ecosystem program that we have to push to get accredited in every university on earth. So this will mean that there will be a little satellite outpost of this in every state, in every province. And perhaps in some states and provinces and countries, there will be more than just like say, like here in so-called Quebec. You got Quebec City, Laval, Montreal, 3 main points, right? 3 rivers. Can have these programs in each of these, Sherbrooke. So we can have a program like this in each place. People activated in each place to bring forward their expertise, real human expertise. Okay, so this is what we know that we have to do, what we have to work on. Now, everybody that was on the Zoom was given the chance to share their take on this. Everybody here has shared. So now what we do is we're not going to conclude here. This isn't to conclude today. What this is today is for us to quite simply step forward. What you just did today is you stepped out of a dormant humanity, a dormant one. And where you are standing is where you put your money where your mouth is. That's where you are. Here, we don't dilly-dally. We do not waste our time. We are not going to be talking about last night's basketball scores or about what movie you want to see. No, we only talk about business here. And we take action on this business. So now we know, in accordance with Degani Diuhad, in accordance with the 2-row wampum, that we all have responsibility to each other. We have responsibility to our faces yet beneath the earth. And it is for them, the faces yet beneath the earth, that we take this action, no matter how much it puts us under pressure, no matter how much it puts us in the limelight of being exposed, or maybe even taking our lives. What would you not risk to save your own faces yet beneath the earth? Would you not risk everything? Is it not worth everything? You don't even have children yet. Maybe you might never have, but in the future, the children that you will have, you will not want them faced with the same lack of options that you are faced with. You would want your children having the option of not having to be forced by the whole machination of everything, the system, to go into something that you don't want to be. Well, you're going to become a lawyer or a doctor or this because, well, that's where the money is. You're going to do something outside of the reason of money. We're going to do it because we identified what is right. We're going to take action based on what is right. So now, today, everybody that was here, it's not that I'm going to hold you to this. It's not that I'm going to come to your house or your place of work. I'm going to say, hey, what are you doing? How come you're not living up to this? That's not going to happen. Who's going to do that is you. You're going to do it to yourself. You're going to hold yourself to the fire, your own feet. And you're going to have to answer to yourself. Am I living up to what I must do within the time frame that was clearly identified? It's not a time frame that we have to conclude at. It's a time frame that the system has placed there. The last thing they said was a 50-50 chance within the next 5 years. 50-50 chance means it's going to happen within half that time of 5 years, means 2.5 years, means 2025. That's what it means. The 2-degree mark. Think of it. Almost every year since 2010 has had record temperatures. But yet they said that, we reached that 2-degree mark, and they said by the end of the century. How could you have record degree heat every year, but somehow not reach that 2-degree mark? How is that? This is some kind of magic math that they're using, where some kind of reductionist mathematics or something, where you can arrive at the conclusion is this much, but because it's reductionist, well, it only means this much. This is some kind of crazy magic, something that we're all allowing to manipulate us. We have concluded we don't need scientists to tell us that we are faced with our own mortality, that we are confronted with something so big that if we do not take collective action, that every individual is going to pay the price. So collective action is the only thing that we can do. So once we know this, collective action must be like this. We must be bound. If we are not, if one person in that circle lets go, the entire circle is no good. It's useless. So you must hang on 100%. You must make this thing work. It's not going to work because somebody else is going to do it. It's not going to work because I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You're going to have to do it. We got you this far. You're going to have to take the next steps. It's already identified what the next steps are. So it's really not that hard. It's really quite simple. But to put yourself 100% on the line to heal our mother, this is something that I'll say no one on earth is doing. We made the statement in the spring equinox of 2009 that the health of our mother earth had now reached emergency status, identifying that you did not have time to go back to work. You did not have time to go back to your school. You did not have time to go back to on vacation. Nobody had time for anything except to focus 100% on working to heal our mother earth. Now, I'll tell you that this is what I have lived by since 2009. I had to give up my business, my work, what I was employed at, where I was making lots of money. I had to give it all up because I was the one that on behalf of the Longhouse that said, we got to do all this. Now, if I didn't do that, then the statement would be a lie. Is it a lie that since 2009, April, spring equinox, that the health of our mother earth has been in emergency status? Is that a lie? Can anybody say it's not true? Can anybody say it's true? Is it true? Yes. We all know it's true. So now, once we have all verified something, we have identified. Once it's identified, we must take action. If you do not take action and follow through, then you are just a bullshitter. If you are a bullshitter, we got nothing to do with you. We don't want you to waste our time. We're not wasting your time. Do not waste our time. Do not waste your time here on Mother Earth, because the short time that we have left, everybody must focus 100% of our energy to heal our Mother Earth. First step is already accomplished. It's already up and running. Hemp unity. You may not see the power or the strength of it right now, but the faces yet beneath the earth, when they rise, they're going to thank you. They're going to thank you because you gave them a chance. You gave them a fighting chance where everybody else was just spitting on them and shoving them into the ground. The hemp unity agenda is the beginning of the great healing. The great healing. It doesn't matter if you identify hemp unity. It's the great healing. This is the time that we are in. If you are not in it, then you are part of the great destruction. We are going to determine what is this epoch in time that we are in, because the struggle, the outcome of the struggle is going to identify it. This will either be the time of the great healing or it'll be the time of the great destruction. What part are you going to play? So we can see that we have a very big job in front of us. The Ganyangahaga. We do not look at a job and say it's too big. We do not look at a job and say, how am I going to do that? We look at a job and say, this is what we must do, and we set out to do it. And the Wolf Clan does it. We do not sit around and waste our time. We do it. You are in the Wolf Clan house. You're running with the Wolf Clan here. If you cannot keep up, you are going to be left behind. If you cannot keep up with the Wolf Clan, then you are going to be a part of the problem here on our Mother Earth. So Wolf Clan has gathered the minds of the people. What is in the hearts and the minds of the people is that the people are lost for any kind of solution. The people have said, through their scientists, through the United Nations, have said they had until the year 2030. They now adjusted it to be the year 2025. 2.5 years is what we got to take action on. You would see this kind of statement or this kind of whatever energy or whatever. You know where you would see this? You would see this in a war room where people are trying to encourage other people, go to war and kill your enemy. But here we are talking about the true fight. Go out there and love Mother Earth. Go out there and heal her. But know and understand what side you are on. Because you may not know that the actions you are taking, you might think love, but it is actually killing. This is what we're doing here now. Your life today has just changed. You may go back and forget about this. It doesn't matter. It won't matter to me. But that will mean that your life has changed for the worse. Today, your life could change for the better, meaning you are on track, meaning you are focused into what is really happening upon our Mother Earth. That your energy is going to be combined with my energy. And we're going to take our energy and we're going to heal our Mother Earth. We are not going to not do it. We are not going to lose. Because if we lose, what happens? Where's your children? Where's the beautiful children? We cannot lose. This is the greatest call ever in the history of all humanity. How many people have been called throughout time to come and fight for this cause? Come and fight for that cause. Come and fight this enemy. Come and fight that enemy. Now we call all people on earth in the greatest battle ever to come and to heal our Mother Earth and to stop the people who are out to destroy her. Can you do it? You know how to do it? We're going to do it. Deganidiohade shows us how to do it. Hemp unity is the living example of that. We can take a misguided people, take a people that don't have direction, and we can focus their energy in one positive direction. Hemp unity is the living example of that. Non-native people, everybody in the world, no, you don't have to be the way that you are. It doesn't have to be this way. It can be love. Love can return. We can bring our mother back to her natural seat of authority within all our nations so the women, our mothers, can manage our people properly once again. This is where we must return to. Anything else, governance, is oppression. This is why democracy is the worst thing ever created by man, male dominance. So now what we do, like we said, we don't conclude. We take all of this, everything that was said, everything that everybody shared, you take it home in your heart, in your mind, sort it out tonight. Look at it from all angles. Look at it from every perspective that you possibly can and tear it apart. Disprove everything that was said today. Prove everything to be wrong. And when you can't, you will have verified the truth. You will yourself arrive at the truth. You will have concluded it. So what we do now is we barbecue, eat, we enjoy, we talk with each other. Our business is going to increase tenfold after this. Tomorrow, you're not going to have time to blow your nose. You're not gonna. Especially you, to be able to pull this into that school, you're gonna have to organize. You're gonna have to push. You're gonna have to get the voice, the truth, into the minds, hearts and minds of other young people who don't even know. Got no clue. Because they've never been offered a chance to have this discussion. It just does not exist. And so, ayuki again ha, yeti sota gun ha, nero na de hets, when they're gonna go here, that the hawakwe. Dandawe on hets that the stasser and the gunungwe. Bring back the true power of our mothers, to return our mothers back to their natural seat of authority within all our nations, so they can manage all our people properly once again. This is the way of our life. Our mother has given birth to us, given us our heart, given us our body. It is time for us to give back to her. You cannot allow what has happened. You cannot allow it to continue. If you do, the dream is finished. It's over. The dream ends. Everybody who has ever been rallied to every war, to been pushed to rally up people to go and do this, all of it was all just to arrive at one final conclusion where it's all snuffed out. This is what we stand against. This is what we stand for. The Kanyangahaga are right now standing with all the original peoples. What is left? And there is not much left. In each of our communities, we are standing. We are not going to break ever. They will kill us, just like what he identified. They will kill us. Over here, it'll be a little bit harder for them to kill us, but in the south, no problem for a company like Barrick Gold or any other mining company from Canada to go and hire mercenaries and to go and kill original peoples in Central South America, Mexico. No problem for that to happen, because so-called Canada, so-called United States keeps pumping out these mercenaries, because that's where you sink all your money, in war. And when you teach your children to kill, they are going to kill. And when they don't have anything to kill, they're going to kill you. So we got to take action. This is our action. We have covered a lot of ground here today. We have addressed things that no one else has addressed. We are bringing forward a discussion that no one else is having. So anybody who is watching this, I don't care if it's just today, if you're watching live, or if you're watching 10 years in the future, take your action. Get your people, your family at the dinner table. Have this discussion. Expand it out of your family into the workplace, your friends. Start having these discussions with young people when you know what he's going to talk about. You're going to talk to your friends about this, and they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Well, it's time for you to decide who your friends are going to be. It's time for all of us. Who are we going to be allied with? Are we going to be allied with people who just keep talking and who just keep allowing these corporations and these governments to keep killing our people? Are we going to be allied? No, that's not allies. We are just living an illusion then. So we are going to put down the law, and there is not going to be any more contact with any non-native people unless they fit the agenda of the Degani Diohade. Because we will be wasting our time with yous if you are not taking these actions. Is this not what the native people should do? Should we not put our foot down and say, we are not gonna continue working with you if you are gonna keep up your status quo behavior? Shouldn't we put our foot down? You're damn right. We have already put our foot down, and we are gonna live by that. And the non-native people are gonna live by that also, because you are in our house. I don't care anything, what you say or what you think, you're in my house. You're in my polarity. You have no clue. I don't care how long you have been here. You have no clue of how to live in my polarity. Because the fact is everything that you have done proves you have no clue. You are the destroyer of people, of land, of life. I know this is not you, because all the friends, all the non-native people that I speak to, I know this is not in your hearts and minds. But yet, they're all following British rule, straight to hell, taking all of life straight to hell. So everything that was spoken here today, we put it into the fire. And if there is anything that is not true, anything that I'm saying that is a lie, and like I say all the time, don't believe me. I could be lying to you through my teeth. Don't believe anything that I say, but prove it to be wrong. And when you attempt to prove it to be wrong with all the access to information you got in this world, you will have proven it to be right. And it's at that point where you will be solid in your knowledge. You will know 100% what the truth is. Right now, you're working towards it. You're striving for it. So there is a plan of how we're going to achieve it. And this is the plan. The first step, as you know, again, is the hemp unity agenda. The second phase is the application of the human reintegration into the living ecosystem program that we will put into every university on earth. We will start the pilot program here. It will be through your school. It will happen there. We will have the people fund it. It will not come from any kind of government funding, because it will not be bastardized. It's going to stay true. It's going to be you who's going to fund your great-granddaughter to go into that program. It's going to be you that's going to fund. How are we going to fund it? When we look at us here, we're not all equal. There's some of us that have more money or whatever. That's how we're going to do it, based on truth. Based on the truth of the energy that we got to put into it. So we're going to build that. The human reintegration into the living ecosystem is going to consist of training that every eligible candidate, now eligible candidates, it's not going to be every person. Eligible candidates will apply for this, and it's going to be the Ganyangahaga Traditional Council that will do the vetting of the people, of the candidates, to see who is qualified, because we're not just going to allow any Tom, Dick, and Harry to be running around wasting our time, going to go on the Sea Shepherd for 2 months throughout the year. They don't want people there who are just going to be there wasting their time and there for just to gain information to use against. No. So people will be vetted. It's not going to be there for everyone. It's going to be there for the people who will present their true self. They will put their heart on the table. And so from there, this step again will incorporate teachings and training through established organizations such as Sea Shepherd Organization, Sea Shepherd Nation, here the Ganyangahaga Nation, through the teachings of the Great Law of Peace, the Moon teachings, the science, many different aspects, the language, to know that when you're learning Ganyangahaga language, you're not just learning language, you're learning locution of the brain. Whereas other languages do not speak the locution of the brain. They're anti-brain. The Ganyangahaga language is locution of the brain. It's what your brain speaks, what your brain understands. So it comes out for us in terminology that is identified today as Kanyagahaga. But that same exact process is easily adoptable into every language, where you can take even the most bastardized language like English and turn that into a proper language. Right now, it is a bastard language, but it can be used to fix things, because it is right now the crux of the matter of where everything is being destroyed. Everyone on earth who puts $1 down does it in English. They don't do it in French or Japanese or whatever, even if that's the language that they speak. It all goes down in English. That's the language of economics. And so there will also be, like we said, the other aspects of the human reintegration will be what organizations such as hemp traders within Nevada that have been established since 1990 in all fields hemp. So people, anyone interested in the human reintegration into the living ecosystem will have all of these teachings, have access to all of it. And this will be accredited through the university. It will be first accredited through here, UCAMP, through the science department. That's the first place it's going to be established. And so from there, it will be the springboard to the rest of the world. We only have 2.5 years. So can we actually have this program up and running by the fall time? No reason why we can't. If we're in emergency, means emergency maneuvers have to be taken. Means that if we're going to avoid the hitting that iceberg, the Titanic has to make a very big move, very fast. Now, the captain of the Titanic will kill you to prevent you from steering that ship away from the iceberg. So you got to rush to the control room. And we got to steer that ship away from that iceberg. So this is what we're going to do. And to do this, we're going to need energy. So we're going to eat. We're going to share. We're going to talk. Take the time. In a little while, might get maybe too many mosquitoes. Some you may have to leave. You're welcome to stay as long as it takes a little talking here and there. We're going to have a fire. We're going to enjoy. Just relax the brain now. And from here, we know as to what the things are that we all have to work for. Okay, so to everybody who is with us in the Zoom, Nyawagoa, I see there's a young man from Donawaga here. Miles is with us. Now, is he there still? Nyawagoa for being with us. Nyawagoa to everybody for your participation, for listening, for putting your heart and mind into this issue. We must prevail in this issue. We cannot afford to lose. We can't. Can't happen. Okay, so Ayuki at again, huh? If you saw the gun on there, don't know the heads, then they're gonna go here to the house. Wait, I'm down. I don't heads and I go on the go to Guyana, that's the go on this gun. Dana Ori Wheel, Gary what Gori shoes to the Dana Kazakhstan. The thumb down on heads to the Guyana, the great balance. All of you think of the great balance, because in the great healing, you are going to have to bring yourself into balance. Gayandawana. We are in a great balancing right now. It is happening. You can either be balanced or you can balance. If you are going to be balanced, it will be done to you. And if it's done to you, then, well, maybe parts of you that aren't viewed as being balanced can be taken out of you. But if you become the balance, then you will make the transition complete. This is what we must do. Okay, Dolga Tana the Hodi Duxo. Air the solid, air the solid, air the solid. Can you hesitate in each way? Now there's only one thing left to complete this ceremony. So you just follow us. This is what we do. Yeah, we're going. Oh, hug at once. Yeah, we're going. Another double hug. Uh-oh, look at that. No,
Ah, son de Chile, yo soy de Colombia. Colombia, no habíamos visto. Sí, sí, sí.
That's scary.
Oh, all of everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday.
A big hug to everyone. Love you all.
Okay, so, can you see me?
Longer and bigger.
Yes, yes, we could.
Okay, there's no point in keeping the Zoom going now because we're gonna go on barbecue and people are gonna be around. So I think we're just gonna close off now. Yeah, wait, let me give me 1 second.
Oh, it's unplugged again.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna cut now. We're still here, so we're cutting it. So we'll see you everybody later. All right, Anna.
On us, Stuart, on everyone.